sabotage?
Yeah, it's because it's a long story. Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah. All right, everyone. We are live. Welcome to Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. I think we're live. Hold on. Let me double check here. Oh yeah, we are live. Imagine that. All right, awesome. We got a special guest in the house today. He's already throwing shade on my man Slow Mo. Can't believe it. Hopped in here.
As soon as he gets
As soon as he's like,
trash,
why? He's like, why are you asking him that question? Ha ha ha. But actually, it was pretty funny. So, we got B Money. What's up, B?
What's going on, fellas?
Not much. B, you are the prophet, man. We're gonna have to pick your brain here a little bit, man. B, if you have listened to Brad for a long time, B, listen to when B speaks, because he drops wisdom, and usually things happen like 3 months, 6 months after the fact, sometimes a year after the fact. If you go back and listen to the podcast we had, you'll listen to B like make predictions. It's pretty wild. So we're gonna talk about your predictions as relates to Sony here in a little bit. But we have Eric Jackson. What's going on, man?
What's going on? How you guys
Ooh, yeah. He's like, leave that lady alone.
I mean, considering nobody knows what we're talking about.
Nobody who can. All right, let me stop, man.
Yeah, please do. I don't know if you got that Casey and JoJo.
That was in every JoJo and Casey Jodeci song. There was always that. Ooh, yeah. Always. You could always count on that in any song they put out.
That was that thing until Drew Hill tried to steal it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Drew. Yeah, Cisco tried to do it, but it wasn't the same. Didn't have the same impact as when Casey did it.
It can't have the same impact when you're 4 or 5.
Wow.
With platinum hair.
That's
It just doesn't work.
that ain't right, man. He said 4 or 5.
Hey, Slow-Mo, you did have like a lot of knockoff moves. Remember Silk?
Oh yeah, man. Silk was again. You put some silk on, man. You was getting them draws.
Oh, all right. Okay. This is a.
I'm gonna tell you what.
Oh boy.
John B.
Oh yeah, John.
Oh yeah.
They don't know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They don't know.
Yep.
Man.
Yo, back then, every
Maxwell
neighborhood had a white kid who, when John B was big, tried to like
look like him.
Like,
Yeah.
Tried to get his haircut like John B.
Yes.
All right, so who was the knockoff Jodeci for real? Yeah, you were right. It wasn't Silk. Was it Shy?
No, it was Drew Hill.
Drew Hill, straight up. This is Drew Hill.
It was no one else like straight up tried to rip the whole like style.
Right.
And like with the leather jackets, with the leather pants and yeah, man.
There's a video that Drew Hill did that to this day drives my wife crazy. She loves the song, but she said she never understood why the video was centered around the Man in the Iron Mask, that Leonardo DiCaprio movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah.
Only for the fact that somebody in that group is a huge fan of this movie.
You know it's probably
nothing to do with it.
You know,
Yeah,
know Cisco was the one that did that.
Yeah,
I wanted that too. I was in high school looking at it like, why?
Why did the Three Musketeers in the Man?
This has nothing to do.
Oh
with
my
the song.
god.
Yo, Enrique, you gotta introduce our guest, man.
I know. I'm getting there.
He's R&B out here.
They don't know.
They
I do. Hey, but I'm serious. Maxwell. Oof. That was it.
Introduce the guest, man.
And
We're not doing this no more.
yeah. What about R. Kelly?
Yo,
about him?
introduce
All right. We got a very, very special guest tonight, guys. I'm sorry. We went off the deep rail here.
You would know.
No, well, I mean, I tend to do that a little bit. I get excited because I'm, it's a BRAP Wednesday. We got a lot of gaming news to talk about. I got my studio partly set up, man. I got to set up my mic, but I got my new desk, and I got everything just looking nice, man. It's gonna look real nice. I can't wait, and I finally get to hang up some of my statues, and I'm gonna do some unboxing videos. But anyhow, Without further ado, guys, and I'm sorry, and I apologize to our special guest this evening. We have a very special gentleman today, somebody who likes to throw shade at slow mo. Somebody who I've actually podcast recently on Breakfast with Boom, and this gentleman goes by the name of Bit Cloud Gaming. Bit Cloud, sir, welcome to BRAP. Glad to have you finally glad to have you on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. At the end of the show, Slow-Mo's name will be Slow-Mo Got Slapped.
Ooh, okay. Wow.
Real man.
Okay.
Oh man, let me roll my sleeves up real
There we
quick.
go.
I see Ryan wants to smoke
Ryan.
already. I mean, it's been a long day, but
It's been a long time because
it's-
Luca is no longer in between us, so like the heads are gonna now collide.
Yeah. So Ryan, real quick, man. Before you throw more shade at slow mo, he rolls up his sleeves. Yeah, no, you guys, yeah, I've done some shows, you guys, on Scumcast and like I said, Breakfast with Boom with you. But for our viewers, you're a first time guest here, man. Just give a little bit, give people like a little bit of background in terms of, your gaming history, when you first started gaming, yeah, and what podcast you're currently doing right now.
All right. In terms of gaming history, I've been gaming since I was like what 5 years old.
All right, so how many years is that, man? Like for me, five. If I say five, that's 37 years.
27.
Okay, all right. So you started gaming on the 360 then? No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. No, I'm joking.
No. Yeah, I have quite a bit of history. You know, throughout all the years, right? I didn't think we would get to half the shit that we got to now. The way gaming has been perceived, but
Hmm.
it's definitely been a big jump from what we used to, from what we're used to back in the '90s. Couch play, all of it just having parties at that time. If somebody had a PlayStation and you knew damn well a certain game was gonna come out, you go over there just to go chill with them, play that game.
Yeah.
Those days are definitely gone. But
Yeah. No. Yeah. Ryan, it's funny you mentioned that, man, because that's how we, all of us grew up. Like, we grew up. I grew up playing the Atari, and then the NES, and then the Sega Master System came out, and like if somebody didn't have a Sega Master System or NES, you go to your friend's house to play like a game that came out on that console, and it would and it.
my Sega, had my PS1. Before I had my PS2, I bought the OG Xbox.
All right.
PS2. That's what I want. I actually, believed The Rock when he first showed that shit.
Yes. Hey, look, hey, let me ask you something, Big Cloud. So how money was the OG Xbox? I always tell people, and I've said this before on Brap. I think that actually, believe it or not, I think that console had a better library than this generation Xbox One. If you look at some of the exclusives, I mean, you talk about Halo and Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, it was prioritized. It had a lot of cool shit. It had a lot of diversity in terms of their games on that particular platform as well. One of my favorite games they had was called Jet Set Radio Future.
Yes,
sir.
yes,
Yeah,
sir.
that was my jam, yo.
Yes.
And the reason why I loved it is not because of the fact that they were on roller skates and just tagging the place up. No, I loved it because it was so different.
It was different. That game's a cult classic, man.
Yeah. They had Dead or
That was
Alive.
the first shit game I
Green
ever played.
was added to it and shit. I was like, yo, this is the console to get. And I was having fun. I didn't have to worry about memory cards at the time because they had a hard drive pretty much built in. All that stuff. It was a better platform at that time. But then slowly but surely, PlayStation 2 just started to drop those ridiculous bangers. For example, you pretty much couldn't go anywhere without a not God of War, but GTA. You pretty much needed a PS2 to play GTA.
You needed that I think that helped the PlayStation 2's popularity by leaps and bounds, man. I mean that game was if you
It
remember.
wasn't just that though. Was it Famco? Was on another level. They had the Dragon Ball Budokai series.
Yes, sir.
At that time. Budokai 2 and 3, which are some of the goats. Jesus, I had so many crazy games on PS2. What else? House of the Dead.
Yeah, wow, man, you're bringing back memories, man.
House of the Dead was added on there. I mean, God, there's so many bangers.
Yeah,
But
you're absolutely right, man. I mean, so that's cool. So you've been gaming for a long time. You sounds like you multi-console owner. You got to experience, a lot of the great games that we got to experience during the PlayStation early days of the PlayStation.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. So what would you say then out of like your what is your most memorable gaming experience as as a youngster growing up?
Most memorable gaming experience. As someone who frequent the arcades, right? I used to always go to arcades with the family. We used to always go to Dave and Buster's and whatnot. The moment I was able to, and this is actually a gift. I just got this for good behavior from my report card. But
Oh
you know
man.
when you got all the actual light guns. This is back when Mad Catz sold them, the light guns,
Yes.
for your to your TV. The moment I got, I think it was the House of the Dead collection for PlayStation 2. That's probably one of my most memorable experiences because I literally went through every single one with the family, and we literally just sat back and had a blast. We do this every Friday, just sit back.
That's awesome, man. So let me ask you something. What's I'm going to go back to the OG Xbox. I have so many fond memories of that console, man. It did so many great things. You guys remember Steel Battalion? um,
Mhm.
yeah, you needed like a picnic table to to play that damn thing. Um, did it have like pedals too? It had like
Yeah,
yeah,
pedals on the floor, and but yeah, it was huge, man.
yeah,
At the
yeah.
time, it was like $250 from that.
It was, man.
Yeah.
That's when developers just like were putting out. I feel like back then developers took so many creative chances, so many creative risk, you know, to
I got
put
a
a
question though. I wonder who the hell that control, the first controller was made for. You know, the Duke, because they had to recall the Duke controller,
yeah, that
the
was
original.
yeah, man, that was actually based off the Sidewinder, I think. That was a PC controller from Microsoft at the time, if I'm not mistaken.
I
Yeah,
didn't know that thing was ridiculous.
yeah, that thing was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
you
even
could.
if you had big
D-pad,
hands, that thing was still ridiculous,
D-pad
man.
was okay. The D-pad wasn't that bad. It was like a clicky, like weird pointed D-pad. You guys remember that? It was like a
Yeah.
weird pointed
Yeah,
D-pad.
Yeah, it was. It
It
was.
wasn't a
the minute
bad
they
piece.
came out with the controller S, I copped it. I was like, all right, this works.
Man,
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
caught that
It
thing
didn't
as
have.
soon as possible. You know what's weird about it though? It had those white and black buttons that were like,
Yeah, those were for, I think it was L1, R1. It was like the shoulder buttons. It was those were the shoulder
yeah, they
buttons.
were so close together. I was like, who designed this?
It was weird.
That's so crazy, Hercules. um,
Then they made the smaller one. I'm like, okay, well, ironically, should have been the standard controller, and ironically, that would go on to become the 360 size.
yeah, that was the precursor to the great 360 controller. Yeah, man. Wow, man. That's awesome that you got to even though much younger than me and I think Slomo who's like 50. Um, you know, I'm sorry, Slomo. Wow.
I am the second youngest guy in here, I
We
think.
call Slomo Big Daddy Kane. So but it's cool, man. You got to experience like that transition from, I think the last major transition from in gaming, at least in console gaming, where like you said, back then, if co-op was literally sitting next to your friend on the couch, and then Sega, the Dreamcast they had their online, but it wasn't as robust as Xbox Live at the time. So you yeah, so you got to see that transition from offline to online and the impact that it had on console gaming. Much like myself and Slomo and Eric and B Money, we got to see the transition from 2D to 3D, and that's really cool that you got to experience it. Because I don't think like younger gamers now, who like let's say brought up on the 360 PlayStation 3, I don't think they've experienced that transition like that. I think for them maybe it might be like cloud gaming, which we'll talk about later on. So that's really cool that you got to experience that, man, as a youngster growing up.
Hey, but that don't
The
stop them
sad
from
part
talking like
is,
they know it all.
young gamers nowadays don't understand how easy they got it in terms of games nowadays.
Yep.
Games back in the day, I'm talking like Toy Story for the Sega,
Mm-hmm.
were hard as shit to play. These
Mm-hmm.
games
No.
made you rage. They were designed to make you rage back in the day.
Yep.
Games nowadays now, I would say they're in developer mode where they gotta be easy for you just to so much as get to certain areas so you can just review it. They do this purposely. And it wasn't like that back in the day. When game journalists review games, they were actual legit gamers who happened to be journalists.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I miss guys like Adam Sessler.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, G4. I mean,
Yeah, he was
with
cool.
yeah, I mean that was epic. I mean that's where I used to go watch. Get a lot of my gaming news. They would like when they do like 10-minute reviews on the television show or something. I forget what like show it was called with Adam Sessler, and I forget the young lady.
X-Play, man.
X Play. Thank you, B. Yeah.
You had Attack of the Show. You had X Play. You
Yep,
had
because that was about the turn of a lot of it. Like if you think about it, like that's kind of like when that started to like go away when they canceled the network. That's kind of when that social media boom kind of hit. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I like to go back and think about the ignorance is bliss type of world. When you just like gaming is, it just felt more like a celebration in a lot of ways. I know sometimes we let this Twitter thing kind of like people kind of think that's like the end all be all and that's where it all stops, and it's like no, there's a bigger gaming community outside of that.
do I sound loud or loud enough for you guys?
Yeah, you sound good. Yeah, I think there's like some feedback, and it might be my mic because I got a new mic. So,
It's low. I have my
yeah,
a little low.
yeah. No, I like. I know with my mic, I got a new mic, and I'm trying to like. Hold on a sec here. Maybe that's better.
The audio interface, man.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I'm just adjusting something right now. That might be better now that I adjusted this. Um,
For my microphone.
all right. Anyhow, okay. So I think that's better now, for me at least, because I noticed I was getting a little bit of like more echo and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Anyhow, all right, man. So well, cool, man. We're excited to have you on. Actually, I want to go to live chat, guys. Do we guys in the live chat? If you guys can hear us, just let us know how the mics are. Because like I said, I got a new mic, and I've been playing around with the settings. I was playing around with the settings before we went live too. So just let us know. I haven't hooked up the Yeti yet, but I'm using a new headset that I had to get because my other headset just like fried after like 4.5, 5 years. So anyhow, hey, big shout out to everyone in the live chat, by the way. And then we got yeah, we got Ryan Landis in the house. What's up, Ryan? Distracted by life. Um, Jay Fonzarelli, the grounded gamers in the house. What's up, Jay Fonz? But irrelevant natives also in the house. Remember, guys, hit that like button and share as well. Definitely appreciate the support. But guys, we got a lot of gaming news to talk about. Mondays, you guys know, Sean. We found out Shawn Layden through a tweet through Sony is no longer part of Sony, heading up Sony Worldwide Studios. And look, that is a seismic, a seismic shift in the gaming industry. And guys, I much like you guys was just shocked. I was floored. I was like, holy shit! Like, where did this come from? Like, this literally just like dropped out of the sky. This news. There was no indication, as far as we could tell, that that Sean's job was in trouble, or that that he was unhappy there. Obviously, there's an article by GameBiz that suggests there was a internal power struggle between him and Jim Ryan. You guys know Jim Ryan. I think Jim Ryan heads up the I forget his title. I think it's he heads up the European. Yeah, European, and he's done. Look, Jim Ryan's done a hell of a job in Europe for Sony. He's built a lot of inroads for Sony. He's really helped grow that market, and Sony views Europe as a very important market for them, growing market for them, and he's done a hell of a job there. He's made some questionable comments. We talked about this on Brad before to the media during interviews, but yeah, I mean, I was shocked. I was really surprised that Sean is no longer with with Sony, and he didn't tweet anything like a goodbye. It's been a fun ride. Nothing. I think we haven't even heard anything as of the start of this podcast. I don't think he hasn't really He hasn't commented on it. We know there's that story in GameBiz that suggests from a anonymous third party developer that says there was an internal power struggle amidst some of the changes that were happening with Sony as they get ready for the PlayStation 5. And I don't. I've heard a lot of speculation. I've talked about this a lot with Lord Cognito, the Iron Lords, with Mooch, with the Brat guys. We've all kind of speculated, but guys, I don't think we're ever really gonna know what happened. It's unless Sony officially comes out and says, "Hey guys, this is what happened." I don't think we're ever really gonna know. What really happened, like why he left. I mean, and it's odd because let's face it. I mean, Sony has been the dominant brand this console generation, and he took over after Andrew House, and by all by every stretch of the imagination, I mean I think he's done a pretty good job. I mean, we could argue that maybe they could have done a little bit better with things like PlayStation Now, although they're I think they're turning the corner with that service, but maybe early on, maybe could have embraced Game Pass earlier. Maybe with the announcement of PlayStation Now recently, with the changes they made there, maybe have done that earlier in the console generation. Um, I don't know. It's just really one of those things that's just really odd to see a guy. Um, Ryan Landis says Shawn Layden should talk to Don Matrick. He knows how it feels. Oh my god. It's just odd, guys. Like, I've been thinking about this, and it's interesting because there was another a big Sony executive in Japan, and I forget his name. You write it down. Um, who's also no longer with Sony. He'd been there for a very long time, and Sean Lane had been with Sony since 1987. Gives you kind of an idea of how long he's been with the company. I was 10 years old in 1987, so he's 58. So he he's also at a point in his career. He's I think fairly young for somebody in his position of power at 58. Um, and it's just, again, guys, it just, to me, it was just odd. It was very interesting how this happened, and how there wasn't even really an official press release. It was done through Twitter, which
Yeah, it was very unceremonious, like kind of
yeah.
the way they did about it. They didn't even they didn't even tag his Twitter handle.
No, no, and and
Yeah.
and and you haven't even heard from him. And so I think that piece right there, guys, I think that's driving a lot of that speculation. Oh shit, maybe there is some truth to the internal power struggle. Maybe hey,
Jay Fonz said that was real. Jay Fonz said that's pretty much what's going on.
I'm sorry. Oh, Jay Fon's live chat. Yeah, I mean,
The other guy that left is Akio Morita.
yes,
That's
that's right. Yeah, and he's another long. He'd been at Sony for a long
President
time.
of the Tokyo Game Show.
Yes, exactly.
President.
It's interesting. Shawn Layden, when he joined Sony in 1987, and he joined as a communications assistant to Morita.
To Morita, yeah, he
Oh
did.
wow.
So, but what's interesting with Sony this console generation, as opposed to Nintendo up until more recently, until Reggie left. But there's definitely been more of a carousel at the top for Sony. With Andrew House leaving, Jack Trenton leaving. Shit, now I forgot the guy with the glasses who did
Trent, Adam Boyce.
Adam Boyce. Thank you. Left, and even with these changes at the top, Sony's still been. They still they still did well. I mean, they didn't really skip a beat this console generation, even with all the change at top. So I would, at least my speculation, my opinion on this is that I don't think they're going to skip a beat with Shawn Layden, gone, and Jim Ryan's there, and they have some other guys that are still there who have been with the company for a long time. So, but Ryan, I want to go to you, man, as our guest this evening. What are your thoughts, man? Like, what do you think happened? What's your opinion with Sean leaving, and what the ramification or ripple effect of that might be with the launch of the PlayStation 5, which is, hey, look, next year it's right around the corner.
Yeah, I don't think it's really a ripple effect. You think about it again. Him, Andrew House, and a few others, right? They've been with Sony for damn near 30 years. They've been with them that long, you know.
Mm-hmm.
As loyal as they've been with the company, they've been there through the good, which was obviously the insane PS2 run, the PlayStation 1 rise, right, to the market and all that, to the fall, which was the PS3. So clearly they've seen quite a bit, but a lot of them actually wanted to leave on a redemption type note. Even what was his name? Jack Trenton said that he wanted to leave on a redemption type note with PlayStation 4. And you think about it, PlayStation 4 is getting ready to be up there with PS2 numbers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good point.
up there. So this is actually the perfect time for anybody to really retire, so to speak, in this particular situation. Now I do agree, though, it is unceremonious because there's not really any statement from Sean. Like Sean didn't say thank you for all the years of PlayStation, nothing like that. It just was like, yeah, it's with sadness from PlayStation Post that he's gone, and that's it.
But isn't that odd? Like, isn't that odd that he didn't tweet that out? Like, does that? Let me ask you, right? Do you think, like,
Much as retweeted, he
Yeah.
Nothing. The same thing goes with Mr. Morita.
Mm-hmm.
Morita is quiet as well.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes you wonder if this was part of Sony's strategy going into next gen to start fresh with new leadership into different like ventures. You know, me and Jay Fondarelli talked this a long time ago of them actually embracing um, kind of the Game Pass model, but doing games day and date at a later time. Right now, they're actually putting their exclusives on, PS Now,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
not necessarily day and date.
No.
It's
No.
going to be a limited time for certain set platform, by certain set games. So basically, the greatest hits, all the greatest hits games that you've seen this generation, will more than likely be on PlayStation Now at a later time, right? They're not going to be on their day and date, but they're going to be there on their, later on the service to add more to the service.
Yeah.
So that's what they're going to do to obviously sell PlayStation Now. But best believe once those numbers start picking up, especially with this huge price reduction, you're going to see a lot more be done with PlayStation Now. This
I
is
think
just
so. Yeah.
no brand. This is no brand. They're going to do more with PlayStation Now.
Yeah.
They're going to embrace it. They're more than likely going to do the Game Pass model. I highly doubt again that they'll do games day one on the service, but I definitely will. I do believe they will adopt similarities to certain things when it
Yeah.
comes to that particular service. I don't think I will see games like if they ever make another Uncharted, right? I don't see another Uncharted becoming a service type game where it's filled with just ridiculous, unnecessary things. Even though Uncharted 4, you can argue, kind of follows that category because there's cosmetics in the game, but I don't think they'll do that with all their games. I don't think it will happen right now. Um, there was one particular head, I think it was Kenichiro Yoshida. Kenichiro Yoshida is one of the newer ones there, and we haven't heard anything from Kenichiro Yoshida. Kenichiro Yoshida, last time we heard about him was something he was in charge of, like online infrastructures, right? Something like that.
Mm.
He's in charge.
I think so. Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
last person we ever heard in terms of like anybody new with Sony. Anybody else at this point forward, and I said this in my video too on my channel. I was wondering like who's going to do the events now because you think about it, all the major players that we know and love are pretty much gone. Adam Boyce, he's gone. We were warming up to Adam Boyce earlier, right? He left very early in his term with Sony, so he was gone. Andrew House after years of service gone. Shawn Layden gone. Uh, Jack Tretton gone. So who's going to do the E3s? Who's going to do the events? Is it going to be Shuhei Yoshida? Will they allow Shuhei Yoshida to be on stage for these events?
It's gonna be Kojima. No.
Who do they have? Who do they have to do the events? Who do they have to present it? Jim Ryan, he's only in charge of Europe, right? So it'll make sense for him to be at like Paris and all those other events outside.
Yeah, they could probably pull Jim though if they needed to come over to the States for E3. There is somebody who's part of Sony Studios too. I don't remember his name now. David Jaffe mentioned him actually in his more recent Jaffe stream, but I forget his name. That's probably someone. But I want to go real quick, Ryan, before I get back to some of your additional thoughts here to the live chat. Jay Fontarelli is saying Jim Ryan is pushing for more service guys. It's coming. That was the issue between Jim and Shawn. I've heard that as well. Shawn didn't want to push, the services thing. Kind of want to, keep things more status quo. Do you think that's? Let me ask you, Ryan. Do you think that's probably, if that's what happened, would you say that's like the likeliness of what happened here?
For services.
Yeah, like if there was that internal struggle where Sean's like, hey, you know what? We want to keep things status quo. It works. I mean, because there is an argument there. Like, hey, we sold 100 million consoles, and
Point in time, with the way things are going in this gaming industry, remember times are changing. We're no longer in couch co-op, type of things. We're no longer on the couch playing games and all like that. Everything is evolved. It would not surprise me if that was on the table, and probably they butt heads and didn't see eye to eye on it. He basically said, "I'm done. My time."
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't surprise me. We don't really know what's going on behind behind the doors. I mean, it took us damn near 5 years, Slomo, to learn what was going on with PlayStation 3's development from Mark Cerny in that recent video. You remember that?
Yeah,
Where he
that's true.
broke down the history
Yeah.
of PlayStation 3, and he even said that the PlayStation 3 wasn't actually. It was actually like at a flip of a coin type of thing where it was actually going to be a PS2, just a more powerful PS2 at one point, but they decided to go with Cell. You know what I'm saying? He broke that down. We
Yeah.
found that out 5 years later. So it's hard to tell how long it's going to take before we finally know the true story behind what's going on here with Shawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to go back to the live chat too. Eshan Rashid is saying that actually it's not true that that the power struggle between Shawn and Jim was not because of services. As Sean's saying, Shawn was the one who pushed services. He's saying that the issue between Shawn and Jim had to do with studio acquisitions, where Shawn didn't want to grow. And Sean's saying Shawn is on record for saying he didn't want to grow worldwide studios. Jim's the one who wanted to do that, and that's the power struggle right there. So that's
But that's interesting considering everyone is crediting Layden with bringing in Insomniac.
Exactly.
So I don't know if that's exactly accurate because I mean Layden heads up Worldwide Studios,
yeah
and
Yeah.
it was his, his fingerprints are all over the Insomniac
His
purchase.
ambition to get Insomnia Games because they saw the market share for Spider-Man.
Right.
yeah
That was the main thing. Remember, Spider-Man was their main thing to buy. Spider-Man did record numbers in just 3 days.
yeah. I mean it's their biggest. It's probably their biggest exclusive.
It
This
will go down. It's one
yeah
of the biggest exclusives of this generation period, And that, keep in mind, that's a new. Well, I mean, many people can say there's plenty of Spider-Man games, but if you really think about it, that's a new, fresh IP, and it did this.
yeah
God
yeah
of War is already established with many of us. We all know Kratos, right? We already know the Rage is
boy.
but this is a retelling, and this retelling of it has been well received to the point where more people are invested into the next God of War. I'm telling you right now, y'all think those Last of Us pre-orders sold out in record time? Wait till y'all see God of War 2's pre-orders go up, and see how long those pre-orders last for pledge editions.
Yeah yeah
That is how well they've done this generation with the game. So again, with the leadership being changed and Shawn finally leaving after almost 30 years, with the company, I don't see that really affecting PlayStation 5. I just see that's more likely part of their plan to do other stuff. Get more younger eyes into the product. But after what I heard, I know you guys probably saw the report about the camera with the Scarlett and possibly PS5. I hope to God we're not going back.
well somebody came out and said the camera thing's not true for the Xbox Scarlet. That's not going to happen. I saw that. Yeah, I saw that tweet out earlier.
Not. Y'all
Yeah,
ready? We're a year away, and this shit
yeah,
about to leak. I don't like that. I don't want to see that. I don't
yeah,
want to see no camera.
yeah. No, I hear. But again, I also think and I think it's an interesting conversation to have. But I really do believe though that we'll never really know. What kind of what happened. I just don't. I don't. And it's funny. I was listening to David Jaffe, who used to obviously he's used to work for Sony. He said he goes, we'll probably never know. And I kind of agree with his opinion or insight on this. He's like, I've been there, I worked there. I can tell you, we'll probably never really know what happened. Um, but but still, it's still fascinating. I do want to get to the rest of the panel, kind of get you guys' opinion on this. I want to go to you, B Money. B man, you have, as I mentioned earlier, you have predicted many things, man. But you probably couldn't have predicted this to happen. What are your thoughts, man? What do you think may have happened behind the scenes?
I don't know. I think Jim Ryan or maybe a group of executives maybe called Shawn Layden out on some of the decisions he's made, and he probably was just fed up with it, and that's probably why you don't see him, make any statements after Sony makes the announcement, and he hasn't been on Twitter. I saw that he liked a couple posts from Concrete Genie and stuff like that. Some of the stuff that they recently posted in Dreams. He's liked a few posts, but he hasn't made any statements on Twitter. So I find that it's very interesting that he hasn't actually come out and spoke on any of the things going on. So a lot of people are saying it's been an internal struggle, and I could definitely see that. But Sony has always been known to kind of rotate the people at the top. We saw this with Jack Trent leaving. Everybody was so excited about Jack Trent. He kind of brought a swagger to the PlayStation that they didn't have for a long time, and and he kind of walks out the door, and then we get Andrew House, and it seemed like he was only here for a couple years. You know what I mean? And then we got Shawn Layden. So it's been a revolving door over the 6 years this generation has been going on. Um, you know what I mean? And like you said before, PlayStation has continued to roll on. Like I look at it as like a football mentality. You know what I mean? It's next man up, and I feel like that's how they're kind of rolling with this. Whoever is next in line, you're gonna take the keys, and we're gonna let you drive. But if you can't do it, then next man up. So um, I don't think we'll ever know the true uh, things that went on behind closed doors. But I mean, it's kind of interesting that Sony makes these announcements right after they announce that Layden isn't there anymore. So um, it kind of makes you think one way or another about what was going on behind closed doors.
Yeah, it's
I
certainly
think they roll those
fascinating.
out pretty quick.
What were you saying, Eric?
I said they did kind of roll those announcements out pretty quick. Like right after, it's like they got one thing taken care of, and then it's like boom, here's some other stuff. Things that had been speculated on over the last couple of years, like the crossplay announcement, um, you know, restructuring PS Now, those different things. So definitely, like being said, it definitely lends to what were the conversations going on there, what was the internal struggle, what was the power struggle, so to speak. You know, but at the same time, what people have to realize too is and I think what people kind of forget, especially again like in the Twitter land, that these are businesses, and this is what happens, and everybody's expendable. And at the end of the day, the bottom line is what's best for the company, what the dollar is. Unless your name is up on the marquee and you own the company, goes. And don't get it twisted. You can get the same kind of shakeup at Microsoft one day. We see shakeup at Nintendo.
Yeah.
Stuff. And it happens at companies all across the country all the time. It's just you don't always hear about it, and you're not as focused in because it's not something you're as interested in. But shakeups happen all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
same thing happened.
Johnny Ive just left Apple.
Yeah. I want to go to live chat real quick, Eric, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, man, but this is, like I said, I really do believe, I don't think we'll ever know what really happened inside. And there is a great dialogue happening in the live chat right now. As Sean's saying, it's heavy speculation, but the fact that Jim Ryan is a great fit for the job and is someone who is super bullish on acquisitions and exclusives. And actually, Jim really is somebody who's been on record saying, he wants Sony to look into more mergers and acquisitions, particularly in the light of more competition from companies like Google and Stadia. And he's even said, look, content is becoming more important than ever before because of the competition of competition coming from different directions now. Now that Google's kind of stepped into the foray of gaming, we know Apple. Maybe Apple's more focused on mobile, but they're still they're dipping their toes in their water right now of the gaming industry. But I do want to go to Jay Fonzarelli. It brings up interesting points. It's usually when someone steps down willingly, that man or woman would make some kind of statement somewhere. I think that happens. But I've worked for companies where um, CEO, VP level people have just left, and they didn't make comments because they either bashed heads with somebody and left because on their own recognizance. They said, you know what, the hell with this, I'm done. I've seen that happen, and you never hear from them. They never make a comment about it other than they're done. But yeah, it's still interesting that we haven't heard from him. But I go back to this point. Um, a lot of this is speculation. I think it's an interesting conversation to have, but again, I really do believe that we'll never really know what happened. They're not going to come out and tell us. They're not going to do that. Eric, I'm sorry, man. Go ahead. Finish your point, please.
Oh no, that's kind of one thing I was gonna say. Like shakeups do happen. I mean, kind of have to see how it all kind of shakes out. But I know typically what we tend to do is go to like the doom and gloom of everything. But it's
The
again,
sky is falling.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that's all across the board on anything that shakes up and changes. Gamers don't like change. And they kind of like that approach. So it's like
Isn't that funny? We gamers are. It's funny, Eric. I'm sorry, man. I don't mean to interrupt you, man. But
yes, you do.
when next time I get interrupt you, I'm gonna be like, ooh, yeah,
You gonna give him an ad lib?
yeah.
Go ahead, Enrique.
So it's really.
You adjust the feedback on your mic because everybody's having issues because
Uh, yeah, hold on a sec here, man.
yeah,
Yeah, let me.
I guess it's coming through your
Yeah,
mic.
hold on a sec here. I'm gonna mute my mic. But go ahead, guys. Go ahead, E. Go ahead, E.
You were saying something.
Yeah, but I interrupted, man. Or go ahead, slow mo.
Well, he handles that. My opinion on this is, you know what? It's likely was some internal power struggles, but that's like nothing. As E was saying, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It's only really a bad thing when that internal power struggle isn't dealt with. When it hasn't been resolved, and it becomes this back and forth where
Yeah.
you got one camp that has a one philosophy of a way of doing things, and another camp has a different way of doing things, and they're butting heads. That's when you start getting mixed messaging to the community.
Hey, slow mo.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, man. Can you hear me? Okay, because I adjusted my mic.
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I've worked in a company that's had one of those internal power struggles, and you end up seeing people take sides, not necessarily because they feel, and I'm talking about internally, not necessarily because they feel one person is correct in their approach to whatever they want to do within the company, but just more of just out of loyalty. If
Yeah, we
someone
see that
brought
with
you in the
Spider-Man.
company, say what, Ryan?
So we saw that with Spider-Man and the Disney deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, people are, they're just loyal. And so if someone brings you into a company and they promoted you, and you are in, and not saying that some of these people weren't in the position that they were in because they didn't deserve it or they didn't work hard for it. But someone gave you a shot, gave you a chance, and now they're dealing with an internal power struggle with someone else that you don't know. Then yeah, you're going to get some people when one wins out and when Ryan got promoted, that was it. He's the winner. He's the winner here. He's promoted. He's now it's now his show. Yeah,
Yeah.
people like Layden and maybe Moretta. I'm probably mispronouncing his name, Moretta.
It's Camarada. Yeah.
Yeah, and these guys leave, but it's better that they leave and there be one unified vision for PlayStation going into the future than this continue on where one camp or one division has an idea of how things should be, and then other people had different ideas. You don't want to see that because what ends up
Yeah.
happening is you get potentially situations like what we saw with The Last of Us 2 multiplayer. First thought last year is what we heard publicly was it's going to be in the game. Then we're hearing it's not in the game from the actual one of the actual directors of the game. Then now it's coming later on. Like what's happened? Like this is very unusual to me for Sony because I'm used to getting one message, one voice, everyone having their ducks in a row, and there not being all this confusion. It's saying in the chat they can't hear me. Enrique?
They can't hear you.
Yeah, Indie Gamer and Ryan said they can't hear me.
Oh, really?
They've been saying like I think all the mics. I think they've been saying all the mics have been kind of like low.
That's really weird. Yeah, I don't know. You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we all. Yeah, I hear everybody fine.
Did you change anything just now?
Nope.
Any gamer says you're extremely faint.
I'm extremely faint.
I think he might be talking about slow mo, but it might be all our mics though. I think.
Yeah, Ryan said he can't hear slow mo. He can't hear him.
Yeah.
Oh, he said we're back now.
And like, did no audio.
Is it back now?
Oh, okay, all right, that's weird.
Yeah, that's.
All I'm saying is that I am, good luck to Shawn Layden in the future. Wherever he goes, if he decides to just retire like Moretta did, or whether he's going to go somewhere else, to continue on his career wherever he's going. I think he did a great job. I think he did an excellent job with Worldwide Studios, considering the quality we got in gaming in the past 4 years. And good luck to him. Yeah, at the same time, if he had a different vision of where PlayStation need to be next gen, and the company is trying to move on and do different things, and is trying to do something that Ryan admitted. Ryan said that, and it's something that we've all seen. The winner of the current console generation flops the next console generation.
Yeah.
We've seen this for the past couple decades. He's trying his best to avoid that. I
And
can't
you,
I
and you have
can't
to
knock
take
the guy
that
for doing that.
right. I don't want to cut you off there, Antoine, but you kind of have to look at that statement and say that's somebody that doesn't seem like they have their head up their ass.
Right.
You
Exactly.
know, and we talked about this in DM earlier. I think it's like people. And we saw this happen with Phil too. Like people get something and they latch onto it and they judge the whole process by that one thing, that dumb thing that they may have said. And people, you forget, these are humans. They say things, and sometimes people may pivot. They may not feel the same. They said something and they may go, "Oh, okay, it may be something different later," right? Like you said, Ryan made the comment about people not wanting to play old games, right?
Yeah.
And that's a blanket statement. And of course, there's pushback because you've seen success with backwards compatibility programs, right? But something like B and I have said, don't put it past Sony to really try to push that kind of thing with PS5 beyond just having PS4 backwards compatibility. Because they're not dumb. They see value in it. They know they have a big library, and I'm sure they're probably trying to figure out ways around that whole PS3 structure, right? Then you go back to Phil, making a comment about single player games aren't as impactful as they once were, and we've seen anecdotal evidence throughout this generation that that's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
Right? But it doesn't mean that you throw the baby out with the bathwater. Phil made a statement. He walks it back. Okay, that may not have been at the time. That's how he felt, but now he has evidence that that may not be the case. But you can't continuously hold these people to the thing that they said at one point. You just kind of have to judge them on the merit of where they stand right now. And like Slomo, you said in DM, Ryan could come out and it could all blow up. You go, okay, now we judge you on what you did.
Right.
And you might want to switch to the Yeti, bro.
Enrique's still going?
Now they're saying that they can't hear anyone but Enrique. They're all very low. That's what we're saying. Audio is very low.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Like I got a new headset. I don't know what's going on. It's really weird.
What kind of headset do you have?
Turtle Beaches. So I just plugged them in.
Oh, so wait, are you? Wait, okay.
So I'm plugged into my computer.
Okay, so select your output. On the little speaker on your taskbar.
Mm-hmm.
Click that, and then click your speakers.
All right.
Okay, that'll fix the problem.
Hold on. What'd you say to do again?
You see the little speaker on your taskbar?
Yep.
Click that.
Yep.
Now, what does it say for your output?
Hold on a sec here.
The headset, just say speakers.
No, it just says spatial sound off. Open studio sound settings. Open volume mixer.
Oh, yeah. And,
Let's see here real quick.
Let me see.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to play around. I don't know what's going on. Using an Xbox mic. All right, good. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's an OBS situation either.
Using OBS?
Yes, sir.
Oh, go to your OBS setting and see if your the sliders are up for your adjust the sliders up for the sound.
All right, I'm going to mixer here in OBS. I mean, they're up. The sliders are up.
Is everything moving?
Yeah. I don't see the speaker light moving for some reason.
Yeah, that's probably the problem.
I don't know what's going on.
Oh, you said it's not working? Okay, go to settings. On your right, it should say right settings.
Yep.
And then go to audio. Then it should ask you for your mic, which says mic auxiliary, something like that. That should be your mic. Set that up. Select your headset or whatever for your mic, and then for the it should say I forgot the name of it, desktop audio. Select what else do you use?
Hold on a sec here.
Ryan sounds
Doesn't Ryan sound like a mouse?
like
That's so weird because it was working fine earlier. I think.
Discord was acting funny for a lot of us like a couple days ago.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I'll look at my output, my audio settings here on OBS right now. Give me a sec. Realtek digital output, high definition audio, speakers, Realtek high audio.
Yeah, it's like speakers.
All right.
Man, I'll fix it.
There we go.
All right.
Now it's moving.
It's moving? Okay.
Yeah, now I'm looking at OBS right now. Now under speakers, like the bar's moving.
Okay.
Go. Yeah.
Yeah, can you guys hear us now?
That might have been it through OBS. Is what I'm
Okay, there you
thinking.
go.
We're
That's
good.
fixed. That was it.
They can hear us okay now?
Yep. They said there we go.
All right, so that's good, guys. So sorry, guys, it was an OBS setting. I fucking hate OBS.
Yep.
Yeah, there it is. It sounds great. Sorry about that, guys. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us, and so and now what's any gamer saying I'm too high?
Oh, just turn your just adjust your slider a bit if you need to for your mic. If they're saying you're too high.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do here. Turn my mic up.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing for like the longest, Ryan. I've been helping everybody with the OBS.
Yeah, okay. I you know what? I for some reason on my computer, check this out, man. My computer, I have like a microphone boost, and it was like turned up for some reason.
Hold on. It says I'm too high. Oh, I mean I can adjust mine. There's no problem. I have audio interface here. So.
Yeah. Now Indy's saying Ryan's too high.
Yeah, and I can adjust that, but
Ryan,
I don't
you're
think
too high.
Outside.
Get off the drugs, sir. That was a joke. All right, now we're all good. All right, so yeah, sorry about that, guys.
There we go. Bring it down just a tad more.
Yeah, and I was noticing too. Hold on for a second, guys. I was noticing too that that like there was like a whisper in the background when we were talking. I was like, "What the fuck is that?" So, all right.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect. You sound much better now, Ryan. You sound like yeah. All right, guys. So yeah, while I was dealing with that, guys, I kind of lost track of where we guys were at. I know you guys were talking. I think Slow-Mo, you were chatting, or was it Eric?
Oh no, just there was what was it, power struggle, right, Slow-Mo? After that,
Yeah. We're just talking about the whole thing about it. Was it a power struggle or not? And all I was saying was just whether there was a power struggle or not, it's best that power struggle is over and there's one unified vision for Sony SIE going forward into next gen. I mean, like when you see there was that quote in one of the articles that talked about, was like from an anonymous employee that works for a major third-party publisher and saying that they've never seen like so much lack of communication from a platform holder going into next gen.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Like stuff like that you don't want to see, and that would have likely continued if this tug of war between Layden and Ryan continued. So whether it's just called conjecture or not, it's best that just he's gone. Good luck to him in all his future endeavors. Wherever he goes, he's probably going to make some, going to help a studio or publisher make some great games. But in the future for PlayStation, let Ryan do his thing. And if he let him sink or fail based off of what he does going forward, let's not take the success he did in Europe and say, well, that's definitely going to happen worldwide. We don't know that. We see that often where someone in the smaller stage does a great job, but then it just doesn't translate to a bigger role. We also don't want to take his boneheaded comments and say, "Yep, that's who he is. He's Don Matrick. That's who he is. So this is definitely going to fail." Like, we don't know that. Let the man do his job, and then we can judge him off of that when the time comes.
That's well said, Slow-Mo. I think I've seen the Don Matrick comparisons, and frankly, I think that's a little premature and ridiculous to even. I mean,
yeah,
the
Don
guy
had to retire. He had to leave.
Yeah.
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 Don was shown the door. We were like, "Thank you for your time." If I know it, not even thank you. Just get
They
out.
said, just leave. Dude, there's no PR spinning this. You're too negative. No, you have to go. He sealed the deal when he said, we have a product for those who don't have an internet connection. He sealed his fate with that statement.
Oh, he
Yeah,
did. He
it's
totally
called the
did.
360. It
Yeah,
was
it's
like,
called
Yeah.
360. Remember that? And then he
Yeah.
started actually speaking
dude.
when remember, this is back when Microsoft was real big too when it came to our soldiers and military.
Yes, overseas,
Somehow,
the 360.
remember
Yeah.
that the overseas statement?
Yeah.
So when dude asked that question, he answered that question like, well, I never thought I had to answer a question like that. Where dude said, what if I'm stationed in Guam? I don't have internet connection. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I was like,
You know, that's terrible. If you don't have a
Should-
basic answer for that, or a basic question,
Yeah,
or a
the
basic
problem-
reply.
Right.
You,
Guy
you know, there was
doesn't
a
think quick on his
lot
feet.
of. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Enrique.
No, say he's got to. You got to be quick on your feet. I think at that point, I think the answer is like, you know what? Great question. We're gonna look into that, and just leave it at that.
Yeah. You know, there was a lot of really bad PR statements from people who seemed like they were just not prepared to answer a lot of these questions. A lot of these questions should have been asked in the planning stages when they were planning the Xbox One. But
Yeah.
the fact that none of these thoughts cross your mind until someone with the media comes at you with a question is just, yeah, you're a little bit out of your depth, bro.
They tried to flash. They focused more on style than substance when it came to the reveal. Because remember, they were all about showing off the gestures. You know, Xbox this, Xbox do that, and then they doing the Kinect integration with the hands. You know, pulling the screen off
Mhm.
and get back to the memory. That's what they did. They focused more on style than the actual substance of what it can do. And that's what they screwed up with the
TV.
That's basically what it was. I mean,
It-
NFL, they were really trying to push everything they possibly
Yeah.
could. Now, I understood the NFL teams, right? We understood that because, they were big with Madden and, of course, with EA. EA still is one of their biggest supporters. But even with EA, you got to look at the basics here. A lot of people are not buying this console strictly off of that shit. We need games here, and you're not doing anything.
But you know, Don Mashik wasn't the only one that was out there just with really bad messaging. There was a guy, and I don't know if you guys remember this or not on Twitter, but
Adam Morph,
yeah, where he it was before the big reveal, and this should have been their huge red flag. This is why I don't give them any passes, because they should have seen this and said, yo, we got a problem, and we may need to put the brakes on some things. But they didn't, and they kept on, and they ran right into a brick wall. But on Twitter, before it was leaked about all this, the DRM stuff, all the stuff that they were going to talk about at their reveal, that stuff was leaked, and people didn't like it. And so there was a guy who worked for BioWare who spoke to this dude with Microsoft, and he was just like, but what if you live in like West Virginia and you don't have great internet? And that was in regards to the online 24-hour check-in.
Yeah.
And he was like, why the fuck would I want to live in West Virginia? Like, dude, what?
Did they brought up the old data? Well, we looked at the data from last generation. A lot of you are still connected in there. I'm like, well, true, but that doesn't save the console.
Oh my god,
that don't save the console. I highly doubt anybody's going to rush to pay a $300 internet bill, right?
Yeah.
If their fucking console is locked.
Hey, let me ask you guys. Let me
take that shit back.
Let me ask you guys something. Any as we talk about, we go back and kind of revisit Microsoft's kind of foot in their mouth moment. But you guys any concerns with the transition that's happening internally, and what this means for PlayStation 5, or do you think it's just business as usual?
I'm not certain yet. I mean, I want to. I'm not going to dismiss comments from people who work in the industry and they're saying that this is unusual. I'm not going to dismiss seeing different messaging, unusual messaging from them in regards to The Last of Us 2 multiplayer. These are things that concern me, but at the same time, I'm not going to say it's all over, the sky's falling. You know, run for the hills. It's not there. You know, they still have the best, among the best first party games that you're going to find anywhere. That the games can cover everything. You know, I think even now when it came to Xbox One. You know, they could have recovered if they had the games that actually delivered. You know, like if Quantum Break turned out to be just this amazing game, it wouldn't matter that the DRM thing and people were still pissed at Microsoft. It wouldn't have mattered that they kept forcing people to do Connect and all this other stuff. All that stuff would have been thrown. Hey, look, I want to play this game. I heard this game's great. You know, like that's something that Sony still has. They got you have Ghost of Tsushima coming. You got The Last of Us 2 coming. You got games coming. So
A host of third party stuff.
yeah, and not to mention them spending buckets of money to make sure that their competition can't get certain games before they get it, like Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Slow mo. Can I just interject real quick?
Oh yeah, go
I
ahead.
think, I think you bring up a great point. You're talking about the investments that they're making right now. We got to remember something. Sony, for the first time, has where they are right now as a company. Gaming is what they rely on now for primarily for their revenue stream now. So you know I don't see them, and I could be wrong. I don't see them letting up off their pedal. You know, and I think like you mentioned some of those investments and locking up third party content. I think they're still going to do that going into next console generation. But I think that's a great point you brought up because as I look at what they are as a company and what we used to know Sony as, you remember we're old, so for us growing up, Sony wasn't ever associated with gaming. Sony was always associated with the Walkman, TVs, electronic products, and here we are in 2019, and Sony's a company that relies on their gaming revenue now. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating 180 that the company's taken now. But go ahead, man. I just thought that was a great point that you brought up. But go ahead, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty much done. I think they're going to be okay, and I think comments from Jim Ryan talking about how they understand the history of the gaming industry, and that whole mindset of, well, I mean, it worked last gen, let's just do it this gen. You know, that has not seemed to work very much. I mean, you look at Nintendo,
Well,
who refused to change. Let's go all the way back to like the N64. Refused to change. Everyone, we always do cartridges. Cartridges is the only way that we do gaming. That's it. We're stuck. We're going to do this. We're going to make the industry do this. What happened? You lost Final Fantasy VII. You lost Square, who was exclusive to you in its entire existence, to Sony.
That was also a control, I think, decision too. I forget what it was. Like they were able to. I think it had something to do with being able to control the content by putting it on cartridge as opposed to disc. I think that was more of a control thing for Nintendo, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was a huge tug of war because initially Sony was going to make the Nintendo 64, and they actually had a model designed for Nintendo, and Nintendo had outsourced that to them. But the model had CD as the format for the game, and then of course you're looking at how this was going to be additional revenue for Sony. We make CDs. You don't have factories that make CDs. You're gonna have to come to us to get your games printed. Mm-hmm. Nintendo didn't like that, and they had their own. They already had actual factories set up to make cartridges. Yep. I think at the time, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, that even Sega was going to Nintendo to get theirs made, right?
I'm not sure, man.
A good majority.
I thought I read that somewhere. I may have to go check on that again, but that it would have been a huge shift for Nintendo, but you have to cut your losses because I'm pretty sure if they could go back, they would change that in order to be more competitive back then than they were. Because I enjoyed my Nintendo 64.
The 64 still sold well. It just got outsold by the PlayStation.
It got massively outsold by the PlayStation. And it was a great system with great games, but
I would take an N64 sadly over this Switch too. That's the sad part.
Oh
Don't do
wow! Oh
don't do this.
wow! Slumbo, roll up the
Nothing about like
sleeves.
for that time. I would take that, over a Switch. The way shit though is going on with the Switch.
You know what?
I
Okay,
mean, rifting issues still.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, I don't want.
They're making another model, right, Slumber? You hear about that?
Yeah, I heard. I mean, but look, I'm not. I still got the regular Switch.
Yeah, you got the regular, but what about the ones who bought the light? And they're just now getting into this and buying it the craze. Remember, we said this on Scumcast a long time ago, did we not? That the Switch was going to eventually turn into the 3DS.
Yeah.
Where it's going to have different models. Remember how you have the 3DS XL, 3DS Lite,
they're gonna have
2DS.
Yeah.
You're going to have that with the Switch, and a lot of people didn't want to see it like that. But I'm like, guys, it's going to happen. This is going to be their next 3DS. 3DS has slowly been killed off.
Well,
Notice how
they've cannibalized the 3DS. I mean, which is smart for them to do that because I think this is kind of their Trojan horse back into the living room with the Switch.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's interesting, guys.
That Pro's going to come out next year, so they're going to have 3 different models.
Yeah.
Of the same Switch family on the market.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to go to the Prophet B Money. It'd be, I call you the Prophet, man, because you tend to say things that end up happening, and then when they happen, and we talk about them, like, what did I say? So, I want to go to you, good sir. What are your thoughts about this, man, in terms of let's say the impact as with regards to the PlayStation 5 and the changes at Sony, if any impact?
I think it's interesting. I think we'll know in due time. I think it just depends on if Jim Ryan is actually moved again and he's now in control of Worldwide Studios, or if he takes a higher seat, or who they move into that slot. Because I think Jim Ryan has always been exciting to me. Like, a lot of people kind of hated on him because some of the comments he made and stuff like that. But I looked at some of the decisions he's made, like with the business, and he really took over the European market. For the most part, Xbox is kind of non-existent there in a lot of places. So just some of the stuff he did with the PlayStation Plus there, some of the stuff he did as far as the sales and things like that, he was super aggressive in the European market. So if that starts to translate throughout the entire brand, I think there's a bright future for PlayStation ahead, because I think he's gonna take some risk and try to make things happen, and all those risks might not be great risk, or they might not turn out to be positive things, but I think he's willing to make those risks. And anytime you have somebody in a seat like that, I think it's very exciting, because you never know what's going to happen. Sony has kind of been known as the great story driven game maker. That's pretty much what they do. And they've kind of faded away from making multiplayer games and things like that. And I think Jim Ryan will be super aggressive and trying to diversify the portfolio and bring in different developers that will bring different things to the table. And I think he would challenge some of the other studios that he has, like Sony Japan, where they've kind of just been doing like support work, and they've made smaller games and things like that. But Sony Japan could be on the same caliber as some of their other studios if they were to kind of put their head down and make just a single AAA franchise. So it's going to be interesting. I think going into PS5, a lot of people are talking about some of the secrecy and stuff like that with the dev kits, but I think Sony kind of got in front of that. I think that's the reason why they kind of talked about PS or the next generation of PlayStation kind of early, with the whole SSD thing, and some of the things that we've seen come out as of late. So I think they wanted to get ahead of it, and they probably have some plans going into PS5 that they just aren't ready to reveal yet. Dev kits are out there, so it's not like people don't know some of the capabilities of what PS5 is going to be able to do. So just maybe not all third parties are privy to that information. So it's going to be interesting. I'm excited. You know, what I mean, I think anytime you have change, it's exciting. It was exciting when Phil took over. At Microsoft. We Phil had been in the game for a very long time, and when he started speaking, everybody kind of followed his words and took heed to what he was saying. So it's going to be interesting to see if Jim Ryan is that guy and how aggressive he's going to be, because I think he's going to be super competitive. I think he recognizes, some of the other, competitors out there, whether it's Google or Amazon or Nintendo and Microsoft. And I think he's ready to go to war. And you got to applaud that competitive nature.
I mean,
He definitely won't be awkward on stage like
no,
Shawn was. Remember how Shawn was awkward on stage at times?
Yeah, well, Sean. My understanding is Sean really didn't want that job.
He didn't.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, it was kind of a favorite of Shuei.
He was nervous. Yeah, he was nervous.
Yeah, he never.
especially.
He and B, to your point about Jim Ryan's competitiveness. Jim Ryan's he's been on record saying, "Hey, I'm not a man of words. I'm a man of actions."
Right.
And he wants to go after new studio acquisition. He's on record saying that, like, "Hey, I want to bring in new studios to the fold," and I don't see them. I don't look, guys. And I say this: I don't see this as a doom and gloom for them. Jack Tretton was a founding member of the PlayStation executive team. He left, and they didn't skip a beat. Andrew House was there for a very long time. He left. They didn't skip a beat. Shawn Layden is gone. I can only judge them by what they're doing right now and what their track record is. Look, what's interesting about Sony, and we talk about the PlayStation 3 and we've made fun of them with the whole get a second job E3. Even with that debacle of the PlayStation 3, that console sold 90 million consoles. I mean, that's not bad, and that's 90 million consoles in a smaller, smaller market back then. The gaming market's grown significantly since the last console generation. But I think they're going to be okay. I don't see, and I could be wrong. Who knows? Maybe it doesn't work out well for them. But I think time's going to tell. But I think based on their track record, I don't see them skipping a beat. I attribute that to the fact that they really rely on this is their revenue stream. This is what keeps the lights on. That's a big difference. If you look at Nintendo and Sony, if you compare it to Microsoft doesn't need Xbox to keep the lights on. And so there's that there with regards to Sony. But speaking of, I'm going to transition to the next topic, PlayStation Now. We got the announcement. So we get the Shawn Layden announcement, and then we get the announcement that PlayStation Now is kind of, I guess, pivoting, if you will, more to maybe a Game Pass type model. They dropped the price of their subscription. You can get a yearly subscription now to PlayStation Now. And by the way, I was really baffled by the fact that people didn't know, and I saw this on Twitter, people still didn't know that you could download the games. They thought it was only streaming still. And I'm like, no, you could actually download games. I was kind of shocked by that. I'm also shocked by the people that don't want good deals for consumers. That I don't get that either.
I don't understand that at all.
That's fucking mind blowing. It's like, why do you get
Man.
People are more concerned about Sony's pockets than their own.
I gotta be honest with you, Slow-Mo. I don't give a fuck about how Sony and the developers. I care about me. I care about Enrique.
Exactly.
Right.
That's right.
If Enrique's getting a good deal, Enrique's happy. I get the sense if you're like, I can understand the argument like with digital per se. Like, let's say someone says, oh, I don't like digital because I like, collecting, like Eric, I know you like collecting the steel cases, right?
Gotta have the steel books, man.
The steel books. I get that. I can get that. But to be like, you're not gonna take away my physical discs because I need them, or I don't know about these good deals because I'm worried about developers and their money. Honestly, I don't care. Like, and I get the argument. Like, is it sustainable to, make $100 million, $150 million games and launch them day and date for $14 a month or if you get a good deal. I get that argument because that's an unknown. That's something that the industry hasn't seen. Somebody said that in the live chat, Enrique likes his chicken spicy.
It's that George Costanza.
Yeah. Or is that what the
Yeah.
was that? Yeah.
George likes his chicken spicy.
Yeah. That's pretty fucking funny.
But it make what you're saying makes perfect sense. It's like, look, I can get Game Pass for $1 and play Gears 5. First time I never bought a Gears game. Well, I don't care how the pie is split. I don't care what equations Microsoft has come up with. I don't care how this stuff works. If I'm getting a deal, I'm taking it. And it's funny to me seeing people who don't have business degrees, right? People who don't run any businesses whatsoever. Like, this isn't good business. Like, what the frick are you talking about? Shut up and get back to making Whoppers. Like, come on, man.
Oh, wow.
Like,
Whoppers. Look, Slow-Mo. I'm sorry, Ron, I'll let you interject here in a sec. But Slow-Mo, I mean, I agree with you. But there was also a conversation, and I get this conversation of, is it sustainable? And I think that's a legitimate question. We don't know. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, I don't agree with this because of the develop. I'm going to take advantage of the shit while we still have it. Ryan, go ahead, man.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know the full story with the whole thing anyway. They told us Sony's not getting paid. These are games that have already been on the market. So they already got their $60 for this game because these games are not day and day like Game Pass.
Right. And I don't think Sony's ever going to do that.
Yeah, these games are going to, basically what Sony is doing with the PlayStation Now is what I said Microsoft should have done with Game Pass from the start. For example, push the games as the top exclusives that you own, right? Push them out there for 6 months, 7 months, as long as you need to on the market, get them out there so people, the hardcore fans can, spread the word basically, right? And then you can put them on the service later. That way people who, those who were never going to play to begin with can get a chance to play. But if you're just doing it now, you're screwing yourself out of profit.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
I feel like
Sony's doing this now because, these games have already been maxed out. Everybody who's bought God of War, if you haven't bought God of War now, you were never going to buy it to begin with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where it's all. That's why it's on the service.
Yeah.
Well, I actually said
hold on real quick. I want to go to B because B was trying to chime in.
Okay, my bad. Go ahead, B.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I always felt like they should do the same thing with Game Pass. Release it 6 to 9 months later on the service. You know what I mean? Like, you can make that like a big E3 thing where, finally, Halo Infinite is coming to Game Pass, or Gears 5.
That way it has more of an impact when you announce that it's coming. But if you're just going, hey guys, Gears of War 5, oh, it's coming on Game Pass day and day. And by the way, you can get Game Pass for just $2.
Right.
It's just there's no excitement there. It's well, obviously you don't care about the game.
Yeah, the only excitement you kind of get is that, like Slomo said, as somebody who likes a good deal.
Right.
Yeah, $2. Wow.
Yeah, but it's sort of and that's the funny thing. We discuss, these things in and out, but at the end of the day, it's like you guys said, I don't really give a damn about the bottom line of Microsoft, Sony, Apple, whoever the hell. That's for people who make a lot more money than I do to figure out and worry about. Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So however they want to go about it, whatever they do, they have to either, succeed by it or fail by it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So Microsoft wants to go day and date with all their exclusives. They made that bed. If it doesn't pan out, they have people to answer to on that.
Right.
But it does trip me out that people are like, well, I don't have this game XYZ. Yeah, but they're making tons of dough with live.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that do for me?
Yeah. I mean, you're right. And you're right. It's on them to make it work. Like, if it doesn't fail, guess what Enrique does? I go somewhere else to get my gaming. Well,
that's what I always try to tell people. For all of them, it's it's on these companies to impress me and get my money.
Right.
But all these cats, they do this thing where it's no, you have to defend and you have to protect and you have to, I'm like, I don't have time to protect your nostalgia. I'm here at the game. At the end of the day, as a gamer, yeah, I want you to get what you want out of gaming. But as a consumer, I'm selfish as hell. I really don't care if you're happy. That's just kind of how it goes, you know. So
this is. I remember us having a conversation a little while back on Brad, and we were talking about Game Pass in general, and just like the whole business model and stuff. And I'll say, look, this whole thing is, it's them putting their first party games in permanently in Game Pass and always dropping it down to $1. We always keep focusing on, it's $1 for 1 month. It's $1 for 2 months. I'm just going to pay that $1, and then I'm going to play Gears, beat it, uninstall, and get rid of it. I got you for $1, but like, we have to stop looking at everything as if this is what everyone's going to do. What I'm doing, because like, my opinion is the end all be all opinion of everything. People forget that there are people out here right now who are paying for a subscription to Hulu and haven't looked at anything on Hulu in like 3 years. There are people out here who have forgotten the credentials to their Netflix, but still paying $15 a month. This is the business model.
Yep.
They do these sales things, because like all these services, they do that. Like, you can get right now PS Now, you can get it for 7 days for free. So I've seen people online saying, "Man, I can play God of War for free. I can play God of War, beat it in 7 days, and I never paid PlayStation a dime." They don't care about you.
Exactly.
Sony don't care about you. You are one dude on the internet. No one gives a freak about you. It's about all the other people who sign up and then say, "You know what? I like the service. I'm gonna keep it." That sale would have never happened if PS Now then dropped the price down.
Yeah.
right.
And you know what's
That
that?
sale
People
would have
saying
never
how we
happened.
comparing this to Game No, in my video, dudes came at me saying, "Well, how can you compare this to Game Pass? How are they countering Game Pass?" I'm like, think about it. He's like, "How do you mean think about it? This is streaming only." I'm like, no. You can download the games to
download the
PlayStation
game.
now.
That's what I'm saying, right?
You don't need to stream this.
But
I don't
right.
understand why people even bringing this up.
But that's what I'm saying.
How this even a thing?
People don't know that you.
Yeah, they
That's
don't
because
know.
consumers
download
don't
it.
educate themselves.
Yeah, I don't get
what
it.
boils
Like,
down
it's
to.
not helping the situation for you to sit here and be dishonest. This is clearly their counter to Game Pass. Whether you like it or agree with it or not, this is their counter, and it will actually work. This is what they're doing. Microsoft did what they did, and they got to where they are. Sony, they see what they're doing, and they're going to counter it. That's all there is to it. There's nothing else you can do.
Piggyback on that, and that's smart business. And I don't know why people don't understand
Yeah,
that.
that's smart. They did it the right way.
It's rocking. And people go, "Oh, look at them copying." Yeah, we're copying because that's successful, and that's
Exactly.
You remember,
you don't copy stuff that don't work.
Exactly.
And you know what's sad about it? They have more content to offer. This is where it gets even more sad. Dudes go, "Well, Game Pass is a great offer." Game Pass is good, right? I think we all can agree. Everybody who used Game Pass on this panel, Gears 5, all that. It's a good value, right? But if you compare that to PlayStation Now, what you really going to go for? I'm going with PlayStation Now if I had the option, It's more games on PlayStation Now. There's too many games. It's over 800.
Right.
That's the insane library for what you're being offered.
I will say, look, and I have both. I've had PS Now for almost a year now, and I've had Game Pass for probably about the same amount of time. I don't use both often because a lot of the games that are already in there I own, because I'm a big gamer. For I think both services get the most value to mid to casual gamers who look at like, "Oh yeah, I heard about that game. Oh, I heard about this game." Games that come in, and you see it with Game Pass a lot, like a AAA game from a third-party publisher shows up like 4 or 5 months after launch, after that 90-day period where they never really recover the same clip of sales they were normally getting. Then they go into Game Pass, then they go into PS Now. PS Now actually has a lot of the same games that Game Pass has as far as current games. You'll see a lot of overlap. But I enjoy both services, because now I'm going to definitely, like, I didn't know whether I was going to re-up with PS Now because I got it last year when they did that sale for $60 for a year.
Mhm.
I jumped on that. So now it's coming up with this going, now I can just do another $60 for another year. And I'm really looking, even though all the games that these games they put in, God of War, Infamous Second Son,
Oh, and you know what's something
Uncharted
sad?
4, I own all those games already, but I'm really looking forward to what else they're putting in there, because they said
Bro, they're
more
gonna
is
be
coming.
strategic about it. Yeah, they're gonna be strategic about it. I'm pretty sure. You like when we have like the comic book type sales and comic book days for characters.
Mhm.
Guaranteed they're gonna wait for those type of times for like Spider-Man to put Spider-Man on there, and stuff like stuff, other games like that on there. So I get stuff like that, bigger events for it, like bigger releases
That's
through.
that too.
And also expect just bigger third party support
Yeah.
there as well. You know what I
Well,
mean?
they mentioned that Jim Ryan mentioned that there's a deal between them and that he says benefits Rockstar with
Yeah,
GTA
they're
5
putting
being.
GTA 5 on it, which is incredible.
Yeah, he said yeah, we have a deal with them. It's not, it's not exclusive, but he said they're benefiting from it. So
I mean, to be fair with you, Enrique, I mean, they could put Gears of War 5 on any streaming platform and not have to worry about profit. I mean, they made their money 3 times back off of GTA 5.
yeah, no,
Oh,
they have. Yeah, they
Actually, made more like 7 times back if you think about this generation. Because remember,
shit.
they sold it last gen, they remastered it completely for this gen, and then it never left the top 10 sellers.
Yeah,
Never.
no, it hasn't. I will say this though. I think this is as a consumer, I like this move. I like that what they're doing, but I will say this. I don't like that unless this what they're doing now isn't clearly geared for me, because I'm a hardcore gamer. I've played God of War. I played GTA 5. I think this is probably aimed towards more casual consumers. Who haven't played those games yet. This is maybe a way to uh, get them into buying maybe a PlayStation console this holiday, or get people who are maybe more casual on a PlayStation, who are like maybe the Madden NBA 2K guys. No offense, B. Um, who buy those games maybe once, twice a year, maybe to trying some of these other titles, entice them. But I will say this: I don't like that they're doing, like, it's cool that God of War is there, but I think what I would like to see them do, and I think you mentioned this too, Ryan, is
Mhm.
them do a situation where it's not because God of War came out like 2 years ago, right? I don't want to see like first party stuff like big bangers come in to PlayStation Now like 2 years after the fact. I think there's more value if they do it like 6 months, 9 months, or whatever the case is, after
Yeah,
release.
that's going to be the case from what we're saying, because
Yeah.
they even showed you in the time period of when these current games that's going to be offered are going to be on there. I think they said for Uncharted 4, God of War and whatnot, it started yesterday, right? And
Yeah,
it's
but then they're
gonna be on
taking
there
those games
till-
away though, Ryan. Like that to me
yeah,
doesn't make sense. Like those games are like 2, 3, 4 years old, and then you're gonna dump them in PlayStation Now, but then take away in January. Why not just leave them in there? I mean, I
I
think at
think it's
this,
to it's to keep you invested, to keep you wanting to try the service. So, for example, I don't think they necessarily care if you're like a concurrent member
mm,
where you just subscribe to it every single month. I think they want to do it where you'll just subscribe to it periodically, depending on the content that's offered. You know what I mean? That way, their growth will go.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because remember, that's kind of where Microsoft's going with Game Pass. Microsoft changed their whole metrics. They're not necessarily going about console sell anymore. They're going about organic growth with the services. That's what they're
yeah.
going on.
And
So
when you rotate
it
like
would
that,
not surprise me if they're going off of that to show that to their shareholders, to push PlayStation Now into into more categories. You know what I'm saying? To push
Mhm.
it even further. More services or more service. I'm sorry. More quality games. You name it. That type of stuff.
yeah,
I think it also, when you do your first party that way, or whatever, big third party you're kind of doing, it creates a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
Like, as opposed to me saying, well, I'll get around to subscribing for you. Like, well, I'm going to subscribe now because I only have a certain amount of time.
There you go.
Check this out. And I think as it goes on, because remember, they're just now kind of restructuring some of this. I think as time goes on, you could see them kind of play around with a more recent game hitting the service as opposed to, later or a couple years later. I mean, think about the games that they kind of put in. Those are games that had already been out. That's because they're kind of restructuring it now. And I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing in the restructuring where it kind of like, just like with Game Pass, is kind of merging more into PSN.
Yeah, you got to also take in the fact they cut out the middleman just recently. They're no longer selling. Well, you can buy their games, right? You can buy their accessories through Amazon and all these other places, but they're selling their stuff directly through their store now. Yep. So you can buy it directly from Sony. So if you're buying a console, a headset, games, whatever, you can get it strictly from Sony now.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see another like a restructure on their rewards program. They already restructured it once. Yep. I think you might see that get beefed up too. I'm telling you, you look at you be dumb if you don't look at what your competitor's doing. And I definitely think
cards that they sell, those little PlayStation Visa cards. I can see those PlayStation Visa cards playing a factor into the store now, right? They'll probably give you free shipping if you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber.
Yeah.
There's tons of stuff Sony can be doing right now with the new direction.
Yeah. And I don't think Microsoft get enough credit for how they revamped their rewards program, because it used to be so convoluted and confusing and people go like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like integrated now. It's just there. Like you all get points for not doing anything.
Yeah, right. I got points just from using a Windows PC.
Right. Man, I'm getting a $10 gift card every month off of Microsoft Rewards. I appreciate it.
Like they gave me a shit ton of points on my birthday.
Slow-mo, what are you doing to get $10 a month, man?
We'll talk off here, man. Oh. Hey, look. I'm not doing nothing illegal. It's just
that sounds
okay. All right, I'll tell you what I'm doing right now. We can do it. It's fine. Ooh, yeah. So, you know how if you log into Microsoft.com and rewards, it shows you like three choices, and all this stuff is the reason why they give you all these rewards is because they take the data that you're giving them when you answer like trivia questions. When they ask you, what do you prefer for breakfast, orange juice or milk, and you give that answer, there are companies out there.
Are you taking surveys?
Yeah, that's look.
Oh boy, he's taking you too. How many surveys are you doing, Slow-mo?
You taking surveys? Come on, man.
First of all, don't listen to Ryan, okay? Second of all, this is how like you build up points. It's like it's the whole Microsoft Rewards points thing. All you do, it takes like 2 minutes, less than that actually. You just go on it, click, and then you're like, hey, do you like this or that? You choose what you like. Then it goes into like they know you logged in that day. But something else I actually do is I've created because like every time you use Bing, you get points for using Bing.
Yeah.
Every time you use Bing search, they give you like 5-10 points or whatever that you search for, and it's like a maximum number
that garbage search engine.
Yeah, I don't really use it either. Google's way better. But what I do for the points is I've created a program.
Okay.
And I just hit, it's a batch file. And I just open it up. Command prompt comes up. I hit a button. And then it does searches on Bing for nothing. For the maximum number that they allow per day.
Yeah.
And that's how I get all my points.
Hey, Slow-mo, I got to pay the bills real quick, man.
Go ahead.
All right, we got a $5 super chat. An awesome $5 super chat from Midway 7 Monsters. Says, just coming in, but was wondering if this is the new direction. Was Layden opposed to this direction? I don't know. We don't know. That's the $1 million question, Midway. Some people are speculating that this was something that he may have been opposed to. Other people are saying no, that's not the case. Like I said earlier, I don't think we're ever going to know the truth of what happened. So, but Midway, thank you for the $5 super chat, man. Definitely appreciate it. Slow-mo, go back to your shady dealings with.
It's not shady. I'm not doing anything illegal. I just created a program and I run that program.
I'm sorry, Slow-mo. I'm gonna interrupt you again. Eric, go chime in real quick, man. Eric was trying to say something. You cut him off, Slow-mo.
No, I was just saying the other part of what Midway was asking is that we're kind of speculating just off the fact that it's interesting that Layden is out, and all of a sudden now all these announcements popped of cross play and revamping of PS Now. It's all kind of coincidental.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So yeah, but overall, we're kind of speculating.
Yeah. Slow-mo.
So
All right.
yeah,
Yeah. Slow-mo, back to your batch file hacking the Microsoft servers. Go ahead, man.
Oh my God, you're gonna get me in trouble. I am not hacking into Microsoft Server. Look, anyone could do this. All you gotta do is get out Notepad on your computer, and if you understand Windows command line, you can just create a batch file that actually lets you do things. So like it's automating things that so that you don't actually have to do it yourself. Like if it was just me using Bing search, I would lose my mind. I'm never using that. It's trash. So I create a file that, I just hit a button and it does it for me. And then I just go on about my business. That's all. So yeah, look,
Trash.
it's gonna become sentient.
the program's gonna send me a message on my computer.
For $1 million in
Yo, you were funny. He said it's gonna become sentient.
Be like, what did you do?
Oh my goodness.
But no, look, I get up, I get a lot of points, and then I turn that in every month for like a $10 Xbox Live gift card, and so I buy a lot of games, so
like
every now and then I get $10 off one. It's cool.
You ain't playing nothing though. That's the thing.
You know how people go on runs?
Stop these lies. I play more games than you, Ryan. Okay.
Hey, Ryan, why you what's funny, man? You throw shade at Slow-Mo a lot too. On Scumcast, you do this. Why are you throwing shade at my man Slow-Mo? What he games?
That's my homie.
I play more games than Ryan. He just jealous that I play.
I got toughen him up for the Mashland. That's all.
See what?
I got to toughen Slow-Mo up for the Mashland. There you go.
Oh,
whatever.
Jesus.
There you go. Gotta make sure you start.
Yeah.
They ran a promo in Xbox Rewards last month where you could get 10,000 reward points just by playing like games. So people go on like these like gamer score runs.
Oh yeah, that is true too. Yeah.
Eric, are they trash games?
Yeah. You play like hey, people think that's equating some kind of gamer score to world life achievement. But if you're doing it, you might as well get the points.
Yeah, that is true. I have the Game Pass app on my phone, and one time I went in because I can't remember what game came on Game. Oh, World War Z came on Game Pass, so I was on the app trying to find it so I can do the remote download while I was at work, and then I saw they have like this whole reward. So the same Microsoft rewards I was talking about before, like for some of the games that are in Game Pass, you get rewards for playing those games and getting achievement points, and those achievement points will turn into reward points too. And it's not just like some of these like those little indie games that they get thrown in there that you never heard of before. Some of them are like DMC, DMC5, Gears. I saw one. I actually had some points for games that I didn't even, I was just playing, didn't even realize they were in Game Pass, and because they got achievement points, you still gotta claim them.
That's the other thing.
Like I was just like, wow, I didn't know that was there.
I was like 800 points once because I forgot to just claim them.
Y'all,
right.
trying Stadia by any chance? Anybody trying Stadia on the panel?
What's
that? Enrique.
You know what, man? I'm
trying
you know what? I'm thinking about it right now because I got this new PC, and I'm thinking about it. I'm tempted, but I don't know. We'll see.
Stand reborn.
What's that?
Stadia Stand is reborn because you were.
I've got my Fugel shirt on right now.
For a moment there, bro. If you were running for president, you'd be like Stadia in every home.
Yeah. Yes. I want to bring Stadia in every home and bring
One nation under Stadia.
One nation under Stadia, and it's bullshit. Oh my god, I can't even.
So Enrique, what games are you gonna play on Stadia?
Destiny 2.
Candy Crush.
He's stupid, man. Candy Crush. He's funny. Candy Crush.
Candy Crush.
What's that?
That's funny as shit.
What's that? Farmville or something? Is there Farm?
Zoo Tycoon.
Zoo Tycoon. Oh my god. Hey, real quick, guys. Speaking of Destiny 2, by the way, Slow-Mo, we appreciate you sharing us the inside to how to get $10 a month. So take notes, people. Slow-Mo Will
One of our
save you
listeners
money.
going to prison, man.
What's that? What'd you say? Ian?
I say one of our listeners is going to end up going to prison. That's real.
Slow-mo made me do it.
Slow-mo told me to do it. I'm like, look, I don't
He
know
said,
him.
I
he
just
said
blame
make
the
a
video
batch
games.
file.
You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know him.
Free points. But there's no such thing as free points. Right, slow-mo?
Yeah. Slow-mo told me it was free. Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. So speaking of Stadia and Destiny 2, guys, Shadowkeep just came out yesterday, and oh my god, like like I think like most like at any time there's a new season or DLC, big DLC like Shadowkeep for Destiny, you try to go in, you try to log into the game at like this case 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you find that you're like 12,000 and some odd number in the queue, waiting to get in.
Mm.
And you just take a deep breath and you say, "I'll come back later." That was my Destiny experience too yesterday, or Destiny 2 experience with Shadowkeep. But let me ask you, guys, who on the panel picked up Shadowkeep? I did, obviously, because I'm talking about it. What about you, Ryan? Did you pick it up?
nah,
Not a Destiny fan.
not Destiny, man. But
Ryan don't play no games.
oh, I play games. I don't play the same game over and over on loop. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
What about you,
I'm
Slim?
lying. I do play the same game. I played Rocket League, but that's a different story.
What about you, Slimo?
I did pick it up, and I was complaining on Twitter about it today.
Oh boy. All right, we'll get to your complaints here in a sec. What about Eric? I think you are on the fence, maybe.
I'm not on the fence. I'm just on the wait list. I'm just not in a hurry to grab it yet.
Hey, Ryan, irrelevant name in the live chat says Ryan's got commitment issues. It's actually pretty funny. B Money, what about you, man? Are you gonna pick it up?
Yeah, I'll probably pick it up sometime next week. I still haven't even started playing Borderlands yet, man.
Oh
Yeah.
man, you got to play some Borderlands, B. Borderlands is good.
I
Yeah,
told
man, I've been playing another 2K game that's pretty popular. So
Oh, I hear that, man. I hear that. I wish I was good at 2K. So let me tell you something, guys. The only reason I'm thinking about trying Stadia is because again I got this the PC, right, and I've never played Destiny 2. Obviously, I've never played Destiny 2 because I didn't have the PC to do it. But I remember Gaming Forte. Big shout out to Forte. I remember Forte saying like Destiny 2 is like legit on PC. Lord Cognito was like, "Yo, Destiny 2 is legit on PC." So I was really excited to get. So I actually picked up Shadowkeep, the deluxe edition, on Steam. Um, and then I picked, guys, my first Steam purchase in like, shit, it's 15 years, 16 years, something like that. Um, but and then got the Xbox version. I just got the regular retail, the 34 or whatever, $35 version on Xbox. So, I can play with some of my friends. But let me tell you something. Had the opportunity to fire it up on PC. Oh my God. I can't even tell you how good this game looked on PC. It's probably one of the best optimized PC games in my limited new PC gaming career that I played so far. I mean, I've only played on my PC Metro Exodus and Gears 5. No, not Candy Crush. Um, and let me tell you something. Destiny 2 at 144 frames a second. Oh my God. High texture details, the particle effects.
Give me one second.
I can't. I don't think I could ever go back. It's gonna be hard for me to go back and play this game on console. Like I got to play the first mission on the moon with Mooch last night, and we were sitting there like, oh shit! Like look at the particle effects. Look at the like. We were like just staring. I mean, the game looks phenomenal on console, right? I think it's one of the better like looking optimized games on console. Like even if you have the engine that could Xbox, if you play on that.
wow, you can say that.
If you got that, it still looks good, right? Irrelevant Ace is the ambient occlusion. It's just Doctor Shrek says Enrique's trying Stadia because he's trying to prove OBJ wrong. Ooh, I might have to do that. Um, but yeah, I was just blown away, guys. It's like I was like and I'm rocking with my Titan slow mo, so I started I had the Sunbreaker class, and I had my super charged up, and I started throwing that hammer around, man, and seeing the particle effects and the flames. Dude, I was blown away. I couldn't believe it. And we were playing last night. We were just in awe by how well this game runs on PC and how good it looks on PC. But I haven't gotten too far into Shadowkeep. I will say this: there's some noticeable improvements right off the bat that I noticed with Destiny. Like it's definitely like they made them. I think the menu a little more user friendly to navigate through missions. They kind of like walk you through like a kind of a quick tutorial. And the one thing that I love is that they boosted all your characters to 750 right off the bat. They boosted all your weapons to 750. I mean, I had weapons that were like, I don't know, like light level 300 that I hadn't even touched, and they were all 750. I'm like, oh shit, this is cool. Like I can actually use these weapons in my vault that I haven't used in a very long time. So, I think they made it a little. They definitely made it very inviting. I think for people to come back to Destiny that were off Destiny for a long time and didn't necessarily do the grind, and maybe even to people that were maybe on the fence with Destiny. They can come in and jump in right away and get into the mix of it with the story. So, Slow-Mo, I want to get to you, man. You said you had some complaints on Twitter. I didn't see these complaints, but sir, the floor is yours. What is your issue with Destiny 2 Shadowkeep?
Well, I will start by co-signing the things that you liked. I do like the armor, the new changes they made with armor. I actually was playing around with it, and I do really like how you can invest in armor and then be able to get some of the perks or some of these other perks. And some of them are actually pretty nice. I like the way that looks. I like how they've found a way to deal with the fact that when you're trying to level up, you really don't want to waste resources trying to get your actual gear looking nice as you're leveling up. Because if you're trying to, like, for example, I started at 750. Right now, I think I'm at about 820. But like I could, if I wanted to, be able to switch my gear to look differently, like some of the other nicer gear that I have in the meantime, in order to kind of like look nicer. Because honestly, like some of the gear, that just looks like that blue level gear that just so happens to be a higher light level than your nicer stuff. You need to put that on, but it's freaking ugly. Like you just don't want to do it, but whatever. That's that. I like how they've made some quality of life changes there. I like some of the newer guns that I've been getting. I'm enjoying it. Overall, I'm enjoying it. My issue with Shadowkeep is the same issue that I had with Forsaken. And hopefully, and for me, I was a big Destiny 1 fan, so like Destiny 2 has never really like resonated with me. And I'm hoping that this is not the case, but I'm starting to see some quest design decisions that I've always had an issue with that Bungie keeps doing. And what I mean by that is let's say you're doing the Shadowkeep campaign, right, Enrique? And you're doing it and you're getting these quests. Like you do a mission,
Yep.
and then you go back to Eris Morn, and she says some really mystical mumble jumbo and like whatever. Okay, whatever. I kind of tune that out, but whatever.
It's mystical.
Then she goes,
she's weird, man.
She's really weird.
Yeah,
but then she goes,
back he is.
You need to level up this artifact. And I'm like, all right. So how do I do that? And then you go into like they show you how to find your quest to go do that.
Yep.
And I'm looking at it and it's just like, do 5 bounties, do 3 bounties, go around this one area and just kill enemies. And I'm like, this is time filler BS. I can't stand when they do that. They did that with Forsaken, where they wanted you to just go to one area and wait for a specific public event to happen. I'm sitting in an area doing nothing for 40 minutes waiting for a public event to trigger to go on in the quest. And it's really just time filler stuff so that they can say, oh, this, your Shadowkeep campaign is going to take you like 15 hours to do. But really, it's not that much content. It's just you're going around doing a bunch of BS until you can collect enough, bounties, completed bounties to go on to the next step. And it's just, I hate when they do that. I would love them to just never ever do that again. But they keep doing it. So it is what it is.
Why do you think
Regardless.
they do that, Slow-Mo? Like, what is it?
Oh, I guess, like I said, it's time filler stuff. It's to keep
So
people
just to
in the
keep people-
game.
okay.
It's trying to say like, oh well, we got so many people playing the game right now. Oh, we got our campaign, our Shall Keep campaign. It will take you 15 hours to complete, but a portion of that is you just doing busy work.
And Slomo, what did I say in the DM the other day? And I get it. These games are nowadays, and they're meant to keep you there. Right,
Mm-hmm.
Want to keep you invested. They don't really. I mean, it's like a relationship. They don't really care if you're interested in it.
Someone say relation.
They want you to be there, right? But
yeah,
at the same, you can do that, but at the same time, respect people's time.
Right.
And that's where I love Destiny. I love the aesthetic. I love the gunplay. I love just the whole world about it. But I find more often than not, now maybe like I said, me playing Borderlands, I don't feel like I need. Borderlands feels like it's fun if you bring friends in because it's just fun, but you don't need to have friends to keep having fun with Borderlands.
Right.
Destiny seems to be that like the reverse. Like, yeah, you can run around and do some things by yourself, but to really truly level up and do everything that you need to do, you definitely have to get your crew together all the time.
Mm.
And that's sort of like the difference. It's like I want to see more of that in Destiny, where it's like, I don't feel like I'm way behind because I miss school.
Right.
Sorry, like life got in the way, or sorry, yeah, I want to play some other games. I don't want to play. I might not necessarily want to play Destiny every single day of my life to continue to keep up with everything. I don't want it to feel like a job,
Yes, that's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah.
A lot of times, Destiny feels like a job. A job you can't quit in order to stay kept up. And when you stop playing the game because you're not having fun, but then you see something that you like about it. Oh, that seems interesting. That trailer looks good for that next expansion. Maybe I want to get that. I'm glad they stopped with the whole. Now that they're no longer with Activision, forcing you to buy previous DLC that you never wanted to touch in order to get to the content that you actually want. Yet at the same time, like if your content doesn't feel like a bunch of busy work all the time, in order to be able to stay current, then people will have fun with it. Like I was in regards to that time gating thing that I was talking about earlier. I'm earlier today. I'm playing Shadowkeep, and I'm playing by myself. There's a lot of people at work at the time. I was at work last night, so I was off, and I'm playing it by myself, and I'm just like, yo, this would, as you said, like it would be a lot more fun if I was in a party talking with people, and we can just talking while we're doing this completely nonsensical busy work that they want me to do to level up some artifact. But the fact I'm doing it by myself, and this is really boring right now, made me want to turn the game off.
So Slow-Mo,
exactly what I did.
If you had friends, okay, so if you were playing with friends, then you wouldn't be bored, is what you're saying.
Yeah, if I was playing with friends, if I was playing with like you,
so
and E,
is that a you
and
problem
Luca,
or is that a Destiny
then
problem?
Say what?
Is that a you problem or a Destiny problem?
That's a Destiny problem because I'm not playing. If I stop playing, that's their problem.
But it sounds like a you problem if you're not.
What has BG said before? If you have to have friends to play a game, the game may not be that fun.
I'm just busting Slow-Mo's chops, but I do agree with that. I'm trying to spark some debate here, Slow-Mo. But
well, look, with Borderlands 3, I played probably Borderlands 3 so far 90% of the time solo, and I haven't got niggas said I got no friends. So I played Borderlands 3 for like 90% of the time solo, and I'm still having fun, because I'm creating different builds.
Game, though, Slow-Mo. That's a different, long
It's still the same genre, though.
No, I mean it is. That's really in the beginning. You're really heavily campaign focused, without having to do all that side stuff. You know what I mean? Like you don't have all that extra stuff on the side, which is why I like Borderlands. I don't have to worry about leveling up my gun. I mean, per se, I'm looking to open crates and get loot drops and stuff like that. But no, I see your point, man. Like all joking aside, I mean, like it's different. It's a definitely different experience when you're playing with friends, and maybe that's maybe I guess that's the end goal for maybe Bungie, what they want people to do and experience. But like E said, and I agree with you, E, and I heard BG say this. Big shout out to BG. You know, when I hear people say, "Oh, I play with my friends, it's fun," playing sticks with your friends is fun. You know, fun with friends is not the barometer. I would say the barometer to use to judge a game. I just
Yeah.
wouldn't use that as a measuring
Hey,
stick.
Enrique, Ryan Landis had a question for you in the chat. I don't know if you saw it or not,
No, I did
about
not know.
Bungie making a different game. And if you're not
Oh
aware of
yeah,
it,
yeah, I didn't see that.
yeah, they are working on NetEase. NetEase, the Chinese publisher, paid them $100 million to make a non-Destiny brand new IP. Now, NetEase normally does mobile games, so I don't know if this would be a mobile game. And some of these mobile games coming out of China are looking closer to what we would see on a console, but I doubt it. I think this is probably just a actual typical console game. But this is, yeah, they are working on a game that's not Destiny.
You think this is a Destiny clone?
It's probably a first person shooter, but I don't think it's. I mean, honestly, if you look at like Destiny 1, look at the enemy archetypes. They're Halo. They're the Covenant. They're very similar. So
I
I
mean,
don't
yeah,
think
they are like,
bunch.
except they're not saying he's the devil.
Right. Like they Bungie doesn't deviate too far from their formula, which is fine because their formula works. Their gameplay loop and their gunplay is top notch,
What
so it
about the
works.
music? I mean, the music
All that stuff is
scores in
fantastic, man. That's why I
Destiny.
said there are things that, like, Gearbox could learn from some of the things Destiny is doing to up their game.
Oh, like Eric, like actually build a game that works properly.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but 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 there's definitely still things that, I mean, Bungie's, they definitely borrow some of that DNA from Borderlands 3. And like I said, I'm going back now and finally getting in. Something about Borderlands has now clicked with me that didn't click in the past, and that probably is the Destiny effect. But I'm enjoying what I'm doing. Like, I don't feel like I'm behind if I go back to Borderlands 3 a month from now. I don't feel like I'm behind in anything.
No, that's the allure I think of
Let me stop playing
Borderlands
Destiny
3.
for a couple of weeks, and it's like everybody's like, bye bye. And then the funny thing with that, you have to have some really good friends that are willing to come back and pick you up and carry you back.
Yeah,
People are like,
they change so much stuff, man. They just change so many things. You come back and you're like, what's this new thing? What's this big chalice?
Yeah, I shouldn't have to hit up a friend and be like, okay, I need the thesaurus. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't understand why this weapon is showing up now, and how do I go get it? And people who I know play Destiny religiously every day always seem to be chasing a new weapon. I'm like, what weapon is this?
And,
I don't even have the other version of that. What?
And there's always different
right.
ways. There's always different ways to upgrade weapons. They keep changing that. Like that to me, like why not just make it simple? I'm just throwing this out there. Let's say like lava rocks. You had to collect lava rocks to upgrade your weapons, right? Just leave it as lava rocks. You know what I'm saying? Like this week it's going to be lava rocks, and next week it's going to be ice cream cones. It's like, well, like.
Here's a perfect example. Remember when you and Forte helped me like level up, like you jumped me up like a bunch of levels, right?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, yep.
Even with that, we're like, okay, Forte had to figure out where I was and what I had done and not done to help me get to wherever I needed to be. I wouldn't have figured that out on my own. But he's like, okay, did you go and do this? I'm like, good Lord, why is this so freaking difficult?
Yeah, and then remember we had to figure out the chalice, and that was like, okay, well, where's the chalice? We can't find it in the menu.
Right. I'm like, where's that?
The amount of times you need to be like, so where do I find the steps to do something? You'll actually be talking to a character that won't tell you what you need to do next.
Yes.
That you're automatically supposed to know to just hit the menu button, go over to this part of the game, and then look through all the quests that you have to find the one that they're talking about to get your instructions on what you're supposed to do next.
Right.
I don't think that's a great system, but it works for people who play Destiny. Just that it kind of like Warframe, it works for the people who play the game, but new adopters are going to be lost, and then there's only a certain amount of time before they're like, you know what, this ain't for me,
But
and they just move on to something else.
correct me if I'm wrong, but most of the people that I know who are dedicated Destiny players, I know they play other things, but they seem to still be more dedicated to whatever Destiny has going. They'll drop whatever else they're playing to keep rocking.
I think
That's fine.
I think Forte primarily only plays Destiny, right?
Forte still hasn't beat Spider-Man.
Oh my god, where is Forte?
You remember when we were cracking on him for not getting past the first boss? What was it, Shocker?
No, Forte hasn't got past the load menu.
Right.
B, how do you feel about that, man? Because that's tough because there's just too many other games that I also want to play that I can't be married to that one thing like that.
Right.
Yeah,
you miss out on so much stuff.
Yeah, like I was playing Destiny 1 like pretty hardcore. And then you know what I mean, as other games started to come out, it was just like I couldn't dedicate my life to that. And then, you know what I mean, just life, my kids and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I do buy a lot of games. I try to play as many of them as I possibly can. So it's like, you know, to return to Destiny, like I think right now I'm still at like 400 like light level. So to see that jump and have them start you at like 750, like all that content I missed to even get to that point. And what's the max now? Like 900, right?
Yeah, 900.
So like
you bought, or it's like, well, I could have just waited for this.
Yeah, like I probably will never get to 900. You know what I mean? Like
that's why I didn't grind to get my light level up, because I'm like, I was at 702. I'm like, why am I gonna grind to get my light level more when I can just wait and get an automatic boost?
That's just it. Like you do all that grinding, and then like right now I can download it and I'm at 750 and I can go from there. But here's the point: I do it now. I hit 750, right? But everybody that's going to be really putting in that work, who loves this, they're doing it now, and they're running the race, doing everything. They're going to be done with that by this weekend. Yeah. And then when you show up on the playground, you're like, "Hey, can I rock?" And they're like, "Man, that's so last week. We're done."
Yeah. I think, and you know, nothing. I think I know Forte has already hit 900, or at least one of his Guardians.
How did the thing's only been out for 24 hours.
Yeah,
team no sleep.
Exactly.
That's why he's not with us tonight. He's like, I gotta sleep.
He's probably
playing Destiny right now with Luca.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying. So I get it, I rock. I respect it. I rock, but it's just, I just wish there was they could figure out a different formula. And again, like Enrique, you said, it's a you problem. You know, they don't seem to have the problem with people who love the game, but I think they would have a much bigger audience if they could figure out a way to keep everybody inclusive. I mean, I'm gonna bring up Sea of Thieves, you know, but that was one of the things that they said. No, but that was one of the things that Rare kind of said, is like they didn't want to have that kind of thing where it's like you felt left behind. I mean, I'm talking about their doctrine. I'm not saying it's great.
Hey, maybe we should get back on Sea of Thieves, man.
No, I don't know about that, sir.
Not doing that.
Ryan, is that a game you would play?
Never.
I heard Ryan is a pirate legend.
Wanted me to play. Remember that's just some of the Discord, or not the Discord, but the stream channel we had to create for RGT. People actually want me to play that.
Ryan, dude, play seriously, man.
Play it, man.
Play it. I'll hop on.
Become a pirate.
You want me to rage? That's what y'all want. Y'all want me to rage.
Ryan, we can be pirates together. Gar.
I think Ryan doesn't want to play it because he might actually like it.
Yeah. Or he might be trash selling. Like he might be able to sell the boat, right? Crashing the rocks and shit.
People yelling at you because you couldn't sell right.
What?
People yelling at you.
One person who I knew who was actually playing that and who's hyped about it was Zalker. Remember?
Zalker. I knew he was going
the only person who was like hyping that up. He was like, dude, it's actually fun, man. It's great. It's a great exclusive. I'm like,
You probably had Sea of Thieves bullies like, no, idiot. I said port side.
Exactly.
I played one time.
Port side.
I kid you not. I'm not gonna say any names, but I played one time and I was like, okay, I'm going to the front of the ship, and they're like, no, you can't call off the front. They're like, you got to call off the stern or the bow, or whatever. I'm like, what?
I gotta have the lingo down to play with you, asshole.
I don't have time for that nonsense. I'm going to the front. It's the front of the ship. God damn it.
Yeah, that was a major turn off for me. It's why I couldn't get into it. I had two of my personal friends were really hyped for Sea of Threes.
Sea of Threes.
Sea of Threes. They were really hyped for the game before it came out, and they were like they practically begged me to play it with them. So I'm playing it with them. You know, we all got it on Game Pass, so of course it's like why not? I'm gonna go ahead and download it. And as soon as we got on that boat, and one of them is a sailor, so he knows all this stuff, and he's like slow mo. Go up to the I forgot what they call that perch on the top of
Slow-mo,
the.
I gotta look, man. Look, it's cool if you come here in the live chat, you want to hang out, but don't start fanboying out.
Don't feed the trolls.
No,
Enrique.
I'm not. But I'm
but,
not getting.
But like,
come on, let's
the crow's nest. Thank you, Buck Roger.
The
The crow's nest.
yes.
He's like, go up to the crow's nest and see where I need to go. I need to check the heading, and I'm just like, dude, what?
Are you
Like we got to do actual boat stuff?
Yeah, you gotta go to the crow's. Like, you gotta get your
and then it's like, you know, me and my other friend are running around getting to the ropes to have it go half mast, full mast. I'm like, yo, I just want to have fun.
I want to know who like playing that game, because remember they announced more DLC for that game.
Nobody cared, man.
Who in God's name is still playing that?
Apparently,
yo, I see some Twitch streamers still playing it. They've actually added like actual story content. Yeah, they've added some PvP battle stuff. They've added a lot of content. I just kind of, you know, I'm never going back to the game. I just wish all that stuff was actually available at launch.
You know what I think?
That game is a cosplayer's wet dream, because literally they all like dress up on stream as pirates playing.
Oh my! Ron, you know how bad my wife would make fun of me if I dressed like a pirate and I was streaming Sea of Thieves.
Your wife make fun of you if you're in there screaming out like actual ship commands and saying R and shit like that.
Yeah,
fire! We got water.
But I think the dedicated community, a lot of people got pissed off because it was like the crossplay stuff was going on, and they had like PC cheaters and everything.
They don't have PC cheaters, man. People are going there and cheating big time now.
Wow. I don't know, man. I always felt like they figured out a way to gamify party chat.
Yeah,
you know. I thought about Sea of Thieves. I was like, oh, this is just like a nice skin for party chat.
I remember there were certain people, B-Money, that were like talking about how it was fun chasing the chickens around.
Yeah, right.
4K, man. 4K chickens.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
That was one of the worst. I cannot believe it.
Okay, how do we get from Destiny to Sea of Thieves?
Y'all remember the Kraken? The Kraken's lacking?
Oh, yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Hey, look, to Sea of Thieves' credit, they got some other big monster. I don't know what it's called, but I think I was watching actually Jada Kratos. He actually had a video of him playing Sea of Thieves.
Is there a Megalodon?
Yeah. It was that thing.
I'm surprised Kratos doesn't have like an actual pirate boat. I mean, he's got like the craziest gaming setups.
Right, he probably does have a real pirate boat with like actual like people who are paid by him to be pirates. That just
this man bought every limited edition PS4, people.
He did, and he's still buying every the Switch Lite too. By the way,
every day like somebody keep dropping this trash off of my.
I went crazy when it came to place.
Yo, Reverend said Destiny is basically Sea of Thieves just in space.
Oh, irrelevant. I would not say I know. Destiny is on another level compared to Sea of Thieves.
Fighting words, huh, Enrique?
Huh?
I said them fighting words.
Yeah, those are fighting words. Yeah, but
the guy who shall not be named in the chat said, Sony doesn't have the technology to make a game like Sea of Thieves, but little does he know that they could just license that technology from Microsoft, since they're going to be using Azure for PS Now. I mean, why not? They could just do that for their game. So
yeah.
Hey, did you read the description for Shadowkeep Digital Deluxe Edition?
What about it?
It said the pre-order bonuses. Pre-order to receive a copy of Destiny 2, Curse of Osiris, and Warmind to begin playing today. So they threw that in like it's here you go. The thing that we charge.
That's not really even a bonus.
Yeah, like this is like a negative. Like I haven't
I'm
played
not going
those
back.
DLC for a reason.
That's like going to
Right.
McDonald's and saying, "Hey, we're gonna give you here's a side of diarrhea with your burger and fries." Like it's just like stuff. It's pointless. It's that.
Oh, that's such a new like move in there. They're like, hey, guess what? You can get these, and people are like, I heard that's terrible.
Warmind wasn't even that good. I didn't even think it was that good.
I actually think Warmind was better than Curse of Osiris.
Curse
Actually,
of Osiris is absolute garbage.
Yeah,
Oh.
Curse of Osiris is a ripoff.
yeah,
It
Curse of
was
Osiris
a
not good.
complete ripoff.
yeah. Warmind actually had like a pretty good like
Yeah,
final boss
Warmind
fight.
actually wasn't bad. You're right. Yeah.
But to be giving it away as a pre-order bonus, like we're doing the damn thing for you.
Yeah, right. Pre-order bonus of Destiny, you get Destiny 2.
Especially considering you had to buy those to play Forsaken.
Yeah, that's right.
Come on,
Yeah,
y'all.
which is why I said earlier that I was really glad they stopped that practice. There's a lot of things I think Bungie is doing now that it looks like some of this stuff was forced by Activision. And things like that, like forcing people to buy the previous DLC in order to get something they actually want. That's just, yeah. Especially when, like, it's one thing if you're using a very, like, let's say like Borderlands 3 or say like WoW, where you get an expansion and it comes with levels. Like you can't level up without that expansion, and then if you go try to get an expansion afterward, like it doesn't really work. Or actually, Borderlands doesn't work for that. WoW works for that more than Borderlands. Borderlands, you don't have to buy all of them, and you can get level up whenever you feel. They do their
Slow-mo, real
additional
quick, man.
leveling outside of the DLC.
Hey, Slow-mo, real quick. I just want to say something regarding Borderlands. I really do miss Handsome Jack, man.
Yeah, the Calypso twins are cringy, and the more you play the game, the cringier they
They're
become.
really cringy.
Yeah,
it is that somebody like again. I know of Handsome Jack and this and that. But the twins are kind of obnoxious.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah.
I feel like they have some kind of like incest situation going on. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah, but
about fun with them.
yeah. So Slow-mo. So I hear your complaints, man. I think those are valid complaints, and probably, as I play the game and get to that point, I'll probably be thinking, you know what, I agree with Slobo. And look, I love Destiny. Like when they release new content, I'm all into it, but that grind just gets to me after a while, and I can't do it. I'll leave it after a while. If I don't have people to play with, I'll definitely leave it.
See, Enrique, that's kind of where I'm at. Because like before, I would buy every expansion. I jump in and it's all good. Then I start to fade out. I say, you know what? I'm just gonna wait this time. I'm not jumping right on it. Plus, I just don't have the time to jump on it right now. Like there's so many other games hidden right now that have my interest more right now.
I mean, there's a lot. Look, guys. This end of the year is gonna be crazy. We got what do we have coming up? We have Luigi's Mansion 3, Death Stranding,
Outer Worlds, Star Wars.
Yeah, that's right. Nobody's talking about Star Wars.
Fallen Order coming out this year?
Huh?
Fallen Order?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fallen Order comes out a week after Death Stranding.
I think so. I think you're right. Yeah, right before the release of the movie.
Yeah.
What do you think about that movie? You hype for it?
It's gonna be garbage.
What?
Yeah.
I'm always.
I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know, man. If you played the trailer, and slow-mo at a certain part, you hear Anakin's voice. So I don't know.
Oh, now they're putting in like subliminal messaging.
Yeah, they're throwing certain messages in this. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. I don't know. I don't know how this one's going to turn out, but I'm willing to. I'm not going to just go in and be like, it's trash. Everything's trash. Screw you, Disney. Like so many Star Wars fans are. But I mean, we'll see what happens. But
they're always brilliant at cutting trailers or getting you hype, and then you get there. So then you're like, that didn't work out.
I don't think Rey is going to be like joining the Sith, or I think that was kind of like a vision that they showed of her.
Yeah, like a clone or some shit.
Yeah, like when some kind of vision or something of her. Or, I don't think that's gonna.
They kind of gave you the illusion that there probably were clones, like in the last one. Remember, she was in that room and there was like a bunch of her, like that mirror world or whatever.
Oh boy, Shazad's back at it. Wilk Wars.
yeah. If it turns out Rey is a clone and she's some kind of like engineered super Jedi, then I'm like, that would make up to me for her being a Mary Sue. So I'd be like, okay, I like that.
Maybe she's General
No, they're doing
Grievous'
is killing
daughter.
off the new cast. You noticed that, right? They just killed off the entire old cast for new people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do think some of them didn't want to really continue.
Right, I think some video games would benefit from killing off the old cast, like Halo.
Do not start with this. I already know what you're about to say.
I want to ask Ryan this question real quick. Ryan, what do you think? Should Halo kill off Master Chief? What do you think, man?
Honestly,
yes.
No.
Oh.
Killing them off. I mean, you think about because what's the story going to be about then? Locke?
No, someone else. Someone else.
So you saying like
you have to establish a character to make it about someone else first.
You have to establish a character that's worthy of the mantle to kill off Master Chief.
Well, maybe Locke.
It's kind of like Batman, right? Remember how you have Nightwing, you have all these other characters to replace Batman. It's kind of like that. You need something like that for Master Chief.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean,
they're about to Destiny-fy Halo. You're gonna be playing it alongside Master Chief as your own character, as your own Spartan that you created, and he just guide you on missions and stuff.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like fun to me, to be honest with you. Like, oh, I get to create my own Spartan and then have show me around.
Look at the armor.
Yeah, look at my armor, guys.
Well, I wasn't.
I actually like that idea.
No, I wasn't geeking out over that damn armor though when they showed it in the reveal. I just wasn't geeking out. I don't know why.
Yeah,
didn't do that for me.
Slim, I think you like that idea because that sounds more like a looter shooter.
No, well, maybe.
Well, because I think you want Destiny, like you think you want Infinite to be a looter shooter.
I have said, I made a video about how I said Halo needs to evolve. It doesn't need to evolve. It doesn't have to evolve into a looter shooter, but I do believe it needs to evolve past the kind of stale format that it has right now. In regards to like multiplayer is fine, multiplayer is great. They did great with Halo Guardians multiplayer, but as far as the campaign goes and everything else that's PvE, I think they do need to innovate off of that. That doesn't have to be a loot shooter. I actually don't even really think like leveling up weapons or getting a gun and then having that gun get out leveled where you're shooting a grunt and he takes like 5 clips to die. Like no one wants to see that in Halo.
Oh no.
But I do think that some things need to change, and I wouldn't mind seeing, and this is what I propose, that let's have you create your own Spartan. You be a part of the Spartan Force, which will be within lore the next generation of Spartans. And then you create your own Spartan. You let's still let the campaign be about Master Chief, but then it kind of be like a passing, because it's supposed to be Halo Infinite. I'm thinking that they're going to continue to keep iterating off of this one game and not go into just making another Halo afterwards. That Master Chief kind of like passes the reins off to you. So almost like Kratos and his son. He's passed. No, that's going a little too far because we haven't seen that part yet. But the next one,
or like Gears 5.
No, a little bit more than that, because
that Gears 5 was lit.
Because Kate took over way too soon. Well, not way too soon, but I think that people will complain if you were only Master Chief for like the first act of the campaign for Halo Infinite, and then you're created Spartan after that. That's kind of like similar to how people complained about Locke being in Halo Guardians campaign too much and not enough Master Chief. I'm thinking where he passes the reins off to you is that in multiplayer you use your created Spartan, and then further expansions are more about your created Spartan than it is about Master Chief.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that they could do it. They don't have to take my idea, of course, but just as long as it's not the same old.
Right, because here's the funny thing. Like, after Gears 4, it's like they need to kill Marcus. That was kind of done, right? But then with Gears 5, I was kind of like, okay, I feel like the way they're kind of moving it and evolving it, they kind of gave him some heart. It kind of makes you want to keep him around now. Right?
Mhm.
So I see where Enrique is coming from with the whole, because we've had this talk before. I was like, you know what? They need to move on. I didn't say kill him, but I said they need to move on beyond Master Chief. Maybe find a way to rejuvenate it, you know?
Hey, but real quick, Irrelevant Native said Marcus Phoenix will be the new Master Chief.
There you go. Funny enough, with them having the Spartans in the game, I was talking to Sam about this. I said, is it out of the realm of possibility and craziness that these two worlds they kind of exist in the same like universe? Yeah, I'm not saying, you know,
like a
Yo, wouldn't that be great? Like if you
Like
like
the
flew on the
comics?
ship to Sarah,
right?
you know, and you're like Spartans, and you show up on this crazy planet with like, you know, these humans where like everyone's on steroids and
What is going on? Yeah.
and they fighting monsters out of the ground. Yeah, that would, I mean, that would explain why you got two dead Spartans in horde mode. But
Oh my
And
God.
on Sarah, they suffer from like Sekiroism, where like Wolf is like this big and everybody else around him is like humongous.
Sekiroism. Oh my God.
No, because I always thought that was funny about Gears, like these big muscle-bound Gears, and like other people like normal size, and they're just like massive Hulk.
Slow-mo, have you seen that kind of spoof in Borderlands 3 with the Marcus Phoenix character? I forget the guy's name. Have you seen that parody?
in Borderlands 3, there is?
Yeah, there's a parody character. He looks like Marcus Phoenix.
No, I gotta see that.
You've had to see him because you're further in the campaign than I am.
Well, I've beat it almost twice now.
Yeah, Borderlands 3. You know when you go to the jail,
it's a part of the main story.
Yeah, when you go to the jail to you got to fight the warden. You meet that guy who helps you out. You know what I'm talking about?
This is drawing a blank.
Oh my goodness, what's his name?
Which planet is this on?
His name's like Meat Slab or something.
Oh, I didn't think that was.
You don't think he looks like
parody of-
Marcus Phoenix, kind of?
No, I didn't think so.
Yeah, I thought he looked just like him.
Now I gotta go back there. Now I gotta go back and look.
Is that what his name was? Like Meat Slab or something?
No, that's Brick. You talking about Brick?
Brick, that's who it was. Why do I call him
Brick.
Meat Slab?
Brick he's in Borderlands 1. He's a playable character.
I know, but he looks like Marcus Phoenix. That's my point. At least I think he does.
The face he does, but he's
big.
He's Brick though. He's just Brick, man. He's big dumb guy that punches stuff.
Yo, he cracks me up, man.
You got a guy from the first game?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When he said Meat Slab, I was like, because I remember they gave him code names. I forgot what they gave Mordecai's code name. I think Tiny Tina was.
What was Tiny Tina?
Oh,
she is nuts.
Yeah, they all had code names for that mission they were doing to get Hammerlock out of prison.
Yeah. Tiny Tina is crazy.
Yeah, she is. Still crazy.
Yeah.
All grown up. Yes, it was that mission on Eden 6.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just not getting the kilovolt.
Okay. All right. We got.
You don't need to fight kilovolt, but it's an optional mission. But it's a good quest though. It's a good quest.
I definitely want to finish it. I've been kind of just running around doing
that first vault. That first vault that you get to. That first vault battle. Oh my gosh, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I beat him on my second try, but then I started seeing. So I was gonna go on Twitter and talk about like, man, this boss actually was pretty difficult. And I saw these people complaining.
Really? I beat him on one try, man. My first try.
What level were you when you fought him?
Oh, I don't remember, man.
I think a lot also is like, don't fight him unless you're at least level 16.
I might have been like maybe 15, 16.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I made the video about it. I was just like, look, you can solo him because there's a lot of people playing solo, and he's super easy if you play in a group. But if you're playing him solo, he has very telegraph moves, and he follows. A lot of the bosses follow like a cadence, like you just know what they're going to do next. Well, once you figure their pattern out, then you just know where to be and keep DPS on them and never sit still. Just keep moving, and you're fine. You can beat all the bosses like that.
Yeah. Hey guys, I gotta run. We're all about at the 2.5 hour mark.
Oh yeah, shit. Yeah, I was about to say that we need to wrap up. Been a great conversation, guys. Seriously, enjoyed it. Great show. Big shout out to everyone in the live chat, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us for the last 2.5 hours. And sorry about the technical difficulty, audio difficulties because of my settings in OBS. Ryan, thanks, man, for helping out with that, man. I appreciate it.
Nah, no
Now time means nothing to him.
Yeah, but Ryan, hey, man, we gotta get you back on, man. It was nice having you on, man.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate the invite. I do, really do. Shout out to everybody out here, especially you guys. If you guys want, we'll be live on Fridays for the RGT podcast. We'll love to hear you guys' opinions as well on our show. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely, man.
Fun. We
And
definitely gotta do this more often. Definitely. It's definitely fun.
Yep.
yeah,
Good to have you on, man.
yeah, and let people know where they can find you too, man.
Oh, you guys can find me on my YouTube channel, Big Cloud Gaming. You can also find me on Twitter, the exact same name. And yeah, you can also check me out on the Gamer Couch podcast. I'm a co-host there with Foxy Games UK on his channel. And yeah, every Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern time, we do the RGT podcast, which stands for Real Gamer Talk. And yeah, we just have fun. So hopefully you guys will join us.
Yes.
But definitely do appreciate the invite again. It's a good time. And I had fun. So shout out there, everybody.
Man. Awesome, man. Well, again, we appreciate the time, man, and we'll have to get you back on again soon.
Anytime.
Last but not least, to my panel members, Eric, man, thank you. B Money, big thank you. Slow-mo, thank you. Appreciate you guys joining me every week. And again, big shout out to everyone in the live chat. We'll be back next week, Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, guys. And who knows, maybe I'll do another rant. I'll maybe put some pictures out of the official Brap Studios, as they call it. I did get a Yeti mic. I just haven't set everything up yet. Got this mic stand, pop filter, all that shit. Now I just need the camera, and I'll be good to go. So you guys can see my pretty face. You want to see my face? All right, everyone. Good night. We'll see you guys next week. Everyone, have fun gaming. Please, it's not that serious. Peace.